Boom. We're live. No intro, no nothing. We're just going to do it. We have a full show. We're going to try and keep this stream to 15 minutes. We're going to do a quick 15-minute stream here. It's freezing cold. It's like negative 40 degrees. And we're not allowed to do anything. It's a state of emergency. State of emergency. Only streaming is allowed. Not allowed to go anywhere. So we have a whole bunch of topics to get to. We've got the Revy Awards, which is Waco and Constant Chang have announced the big Waco Revy Awards. We've got a new interview with Trax NYC. We've got the AP releases. We've got Jaeger LeCoultre apparently going private. Richemont wants to dump them as a brand. We've got so much incredible news. Valentine's Day coming up, the Super Bowl. I got a lot of positive feedback on the Aussie expat appearance on the show, I think yesterday or the day before. People want to know about Aussie and his opinions on Bitcoin and crypto and finances and everything. So it's an open topic, open panel. Jump on. And it's going to be like Curly likes to say, like park bench ultra, like we'll just have it flow. So, but we'll do a quick 15-minute stream, and that's it. Hey, and here we go. Aussie expat.
Yeah, literal park bench here.
Literal. I'm in OC studio, not on a bench, but on a comfy kind of leather chair, fake leather chair. So, well, you are in the park.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day. We've just had amazing weather here in Las Vegas. 72, not a cloud in the sky at all. And I think it's 75 in Los Angeles right now. And I sent my wife there this morning. Complete random mystery to her. I told her last night, "You're getting up at 4 a.m. tomorrow." She's like, "For what?" "You're going to Los Angeles." I was like, "For what?" "I'm not telling you."
It's a secret.
So yeah. So I'm just drip feeding her the itinerary while she's over there. I did have one of her friends meet her at the airport, and they're going as well. Basically, she's seeing Yuja Wang at the LA Philharmonic. So
who is it?
Yuja Wang.
Okay.
the pianist, the Rolex testimony for the Land Dweller.
Yeah.
So that's a real hero for her. So she didn't expect to be able to go. It's an LA trip. It's kind of BS of kids and stuff like that. But she still doesn't know. She's gonna find out when she actually arrives at the Walt Disney concert hall.
We've got already very negative reaction in the chat to the panel. Original Mathis, who's a member and co-CEO of the channel, says these two jabronis, referring to us, talking with their mouths open is not okay. I did go to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. My wife loves the brownie batter, heart-shaped donuts from Dunkin' this time of year, and my daughter loves the Cupid's Choice, which is basically a Boston cream donut, but in the shape of a heart, but with pink icing instead of chocolate. So I had to go, and I apologize if I don't apologize. I'm going to eat donuts with my mouth open during the entire stream, Mathis, like you've never done that before. But anyway, there was so much, I got a lot of private feedback from your appearance on the panel the other day. And a lot of it was about, your thoughts on Bitcoin, how it impacts your personal finances. I said, listen, Aussie is a guy with a $18 million net worth. And so, like, if you're gonna, I mean, it's like, why criticize the guy? The guy's done well. He's been in technology. He's worked for blue chip companies, and then he's also invested wisely. So why take that away from him? Why? There's a lot of people in our space who are very, very successful, and then there are a lot of people who, frankly, are not successful. I hoped, I mean, I'm not as successful as you are, but I was doing my net worth calculation the other day because people were asking
Yeah.
like, hey, Aussie's really worth 18 million. I'm like, you know what? I'm not that far from there.
Not
I'm
not 18. I've never said the actual number, but I mean I've given ranges. You know, I'm technically fat fire, and I don't mean technically as in like I barely scrape in, but it just means it's not it's above 6 million.
above 6 million. That's a lot of people don't like to share personal stuff. I think this is a successful panel right now. Mathis once again disagrees. He's in the chat. He says, not you guys. You guys are not successful. Listen, I don't know what
Yeah.
it's going to take to please Mathis today. I mean, he's criticizing my choice of breakfast, and now he's criticizing my intelligence and my success. I don't know what it's. We've got a new person in the chat. Nina says, "Is this the Aussie expat who's got a YouTube channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?"
Yeah, I do have. I've got two. There's Aussie Expat Watchers and Aussie Expat 2, I think I called it. But I'm not really dedicated to my YouTube channels. Like I put a video here and there just to get something off my chest, and I appreciate anyone that listens and comments.
You're much like me, an amateur YouTuber. It does it for fun.
Yes.
Not financial.
There was a time I tried to take it seriously, but I realized I was more successful if I didn't try to keep to a schedule or something like that.
That's exactly my philosophy. No set schedule, no preparation, no planning whatsoever, and it seems to work out good. People like it better that way. If you have a question for Aussie Expat, I know a lot of people, I got a lot of private feedback from your appearance on the panel the other day. They have a lot of questions about your philosophy, because listen, it's a time you believe in crypto, like it's crypto winter, cryptopolis, blah, blah, blah. But if you actually think crypto is going to go up or Bitcoin's going to go up, now might be a good time to buy. Now, again, we want to be very careful. At least I want to be. There's no financial advice being put forth on this channel, no investment advice. Don't ever invest in anything. Don't ever buy watches or crypto or S&P 500 or anything unless you can afford it and you calculate the acceptable level of risk for your comfort level. But if you have questions for Aussie Expat, like Mr. Tutor to you, so in the chat, says, who said Bitcoin isn't crypto? Now, you made a distinction between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Mr. Tutor to you says, why do you think Bitcoin isn't crypto? He says, of course it is. Even AI says that it is.
I understand you, and the point of making a distinction between the two, or trying to draw a distinction between the two, isn't an attempt to make Bitcoin special by way of semantics. Okay, Bitcoin simply isn't like any of the other cryptos, which operate more like businesses, where the value, they're almost always utility tokens. Okay, and their value is derived from their utility. Bitcoin does have some utility, but it's certainly not the peak in terms of utility like Ethereum or Solana and other types of cryptos. But so fundamentally, its value isn't based on the utility that it's delivering. So you have to price it differently, you have to treat it differently, the risks are different. So there are CEOs of these other cryptos. You know, who's in charge at the wheel?
Right.
They drive everything. There's no one in charge of Bitcoin. It's the only one that's actually decentralized. Now you can maybe argue Dogecoin.
But the irony of your argument is that it's not, it doesn't have a set utility or purpose, which is kind of counterintuitive, because it means, like, shouldn't it be something that it's purely speculative? Is that your argument, that it's purely speculative? It has no intrinsic value, and who cares if it doesn't have any value?
Correct. Okay. You have to be okay with that. So I'm not shying away from the idea that there's nothing intrinsic about it, that its utility, you can't judge its total value based on the utility that it's delivering today. It's just not, like, for example, if you've got bars of gold, the utility of that gold is literally zero. It's not like part of a semiconductor that is doing something, or part of a cooling solution for your McLaren F1.
Right.
You're not using the industrial purpose of gold, and for the most part, gold isn't used for that purpose.
So in other words, if people say, "Well, gold has a value because it's it's used for jewelry and it's mined from the ground, and people use it for, jewelry and watches," your argument would be like, "Yeah, but that's just like a made up value. You could easily use steel or titanium or anything else as a metal to make watches. The value is in your mind. It's what you're willing to pay for it, and then that doesn't separate gold from Bitcoin. It's like if whatever someone's willing to pay based on whatever rationale, sensical or nonsensical, those two things you see as equal."
Sure, but to some extent, this goes even more fundamentally, like whether or not you're a communist or a capitalist.
Oh boy.
because a communist places a high value in terms of what they think the price of something should be on the inputs to it, i.e. the labor that was put into it and so on and so forth. A capitalist looks at prices and says the price has no bearing, no relationship to the labor cost of that thing. That the price is what the market will bear, whether it's a high price or a low price. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, I worked away at this little statue for 500 hours and minimum wage says it's 20, so 20 times 500. This is the minimum price I should set for the statue." The reality is the statue could be worthless because your workmanship sucks and no one cares how much time you spent on it. They don't want it. So
is your personal support for Bitcoin a reflection or an extension of your pro-capitalist philosophy and mentality, or is it the reverse, that you're pro-capitalist, but this form of speculation is the ultimate embodiment of the capitalist mentality?
Yeah, so I've got two answers. One is for me personally, like the most personal reason that I hold it or buy it is I'm an extremist. I can't wait to see the end of all of the governments around the world, and you don't have to. This is not going to be a reason that other people choose Bitcoin for. Okay, so you don't have to choose Bitcoin for that reason. But that's for me. Like that's why I'm like ride or die.
So is that I don't want to call that a conspiracy theory, but do you do you foreshadow like financial collapse or financial calamity in different parts of the world, or financial systems being in a state of turmoil, or like tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, my formative years are the 2008 financial crisis, so the reality is that the full history of fiat currencies is that they all fail, and no fiat currency comes into existence starting out as a fiat currency. No fiat currencies came into existence convincing people, hey, trust money that is printed out of nothing. They all started off on a gold standard, and then slowly over time they sort of rug pulled the backing behind the fiat. I don't want to get too far into the weeds of this, but ultimately I think that a lot of the calamities of the world are created by governments and printing money, like funding wars and so forth. Like the worst thing in humanity is funded by fiat, and would be very hard to fund if they had to go to, like if they had to fund wars by going around and collecting bars of gold from people, they couldn't do it. Like it'd be infeasible to create it, to fund a war doing it. Likewise, if we had an economy that ran on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of overlap between gold and Bitcoin in terms of those arguments, but I think the practicality of the real world is like it's very hard to operate with an internet-connected world using gold. That's what Bitcoin really is: internet-first, internet-native gold. Now, to everyone else,
it's
there are other reasons.
Good gold. We're gonna rebrand Bitcoin as good gold, by the way. So,
good gold.
Good gold.
Yeah.
Remember when they tried to rebrand coal as clean coal technology?
Right. Yeah. They've got clean coal.
So like, yeah, so we're just, Bitcoin, it sounds like we'll just rename it good gold going forward. And that way people can really understand the value. They also tried to do that with high fructose corn syrup. They tried to call it corn sugar, like the ADM, and those guys are like, hey, you know what? We can't, the high fructose corn syrup has a negative connotation. Let's come up with a new branding, and we'll just revamp it. And they said, listen, we want to call it corn sugar. And the FDA or whoever it was said, no, you're not going to do that. Can't do that. But anyway.
So the less extremist version of Bitcoin, like the reasons to look at it is that it's supposed to be just a basic savings mechanism. As in, if you don't have a truly good investment to put the money, your time and value into, then storing it as Bitcoin is something that cannot be deflated away. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. They'll never make any more of it. 20 million has already been mined. So almost the full supply of that 21 million is already in circulation.
Yeah, this is information that of which I was not aware. So there, right. I didn't know that there was a finite amount of Bitcoin that could be. I'm going to use the word creative. Because mine makes no sense to me because that's like, I think of diamonds, coming out.
I agree. The mining aspect seems a little bit like that terminology doesn't make much intuitive sense.
But someone is in charge of creating a certain fixed number of digital stores of value.
Yeah.
And that can't be increased or expanded, or
it cannot be increased. So, and it decreases every 4 years, the amount of reward that's been pushed out. So there's 21 million in total, like end of time, it'll be 21 million, mm-hmm. 20 million already mined. It'll take,
is 20 million in the hands of actual holders?
Yeah, they're in wallet addresses.
Or is it like one guy that has 12?
No, it's highly distributed. It's highly distributed. Anyone who's set up new miners and stuff like that, but new miners are only ever going to get less than 5% over the next 120 years of the new supply. So the remaining 1 million, it'll take 120 years for that to be minted or created. So basically, most of the supply of Bitcoin already exists. Yes, it's true that new Bitcoin is being made, but that number is literally 1 million over the course of the next 120 years. So it's a very scarce resource. Like there's no new supply coming to market. So I think, for example, gold, typically mm-hmm. they're able to increase the gold supply every year by 3 to 8%. Bitcoin is increasing at a rate of, I think, 2.2%. And in 2.5 years' time, that rate will reduce to 1%. And then another 4 years from that, it'll be 0.5%. So Bitcoin
that's creeping up to that 21 billion limit or whatever it is.
21 million limit. So there's 20 million mined.
There's 20 million already out there.
20 million already out. 1 million left to go over the next 120 years. So it's truly a very scarce resource compared to the whole. It's like a discontinued watch. You know what I mean? In general, a discontinued watch will trade over time, and it will likely move to more solid hands over time. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, could someone buy my Hulk off me? Well, I paid $19,000 for it. I bought that off someone after it was discontinued. Someone is going to have to offer me a lot of money for me to let go of that watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
someone's going to argue, and you're going to dispel this train of thought, but we're so ingrained in it. Yeah, but that watch is a thing, and that thing can be handed over from you to me, and then I put it on my wrist, like I'm wearing the Sea Dweller today. I'm wearing the Rolex Sea Dweller 43, big and chunky. I need to get rid of it. It's way too big, and LCX Pad is rocking the Batman on Oyster, the BLNR. So and you'll be like, hey, that's a construct that's in your head that a watch is worth something, and then something else is not worth as much.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, I mean, with that example, all I'm saying is that in general, if something has a fixed supply, it tends to gravitate into stronger and stronger hands. As in, it'd be very difficult for the pauper to convince a billionaire to give up something that he values. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to offer him more money than he has, or more value than he has. Mm-hmm. So eventually Bitcoin ends up in stronger and stronger hands over time, and that's why the price goes up.
I
because
heard you
you
say
have to convince someone to let go of it.
you were talking about this on the panel the other day. You're like how you believe that the economy, just the macro global economy, you have to have winners and losers, and you have the people who the wealth is. It seems like, and I don't know what your feeling is on it, that
Yeah.
wealth that there's wealth is being concentrated more and more and more into the ultra rich, and people who aren't getting ahead are in a worse and worse position as the years go. Like it's harder and harder to achieve the American dream, for lack of a better term, for younger people. Is that
Yeah.
part of the psychology or the actual the logistics of Bitcoin too? Like more and more Bitcoin gets concentrated in more and more people who can afford to deal with the volatility of the ups and downs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying. It applies to just regular stock market. I know a lot of people that don't touch S&P 500 or anything like that. And it's because they can't handle the volatility. All the textbooks say you should just invest in S&P 500 and you're going to be rich. You're going to be financially independent. You're going to retire early. The reason people don't is because the fact that it moves up and down scares the bejesus out of people. And I've seen people who've got YouTube channels, they're in personal finance, they're trying to retire early. In April last year, I saw one of them panic out. He sold like 40% of his portfolio because he thought, this time was different. And that's how you end up losing fortunes, because I mean, from that bottom in April, the market went up like 35% on S&P 500, like the most basic bitch potential investment that has some volatility. So that's how regular people get sort of like pushed out of being very wealthy. Like it's not, because the problem is the rich people hold these assets too. It's not really possible to outperform, for the poor people to outperform the rich people if they hold the same assets.
Interesting. So like if you think of the different strata of investments, and those strata are based on maybe time horizon, you have things like real estate, which people hold for a very long time, 401ks that you're theoretically not supposed to touch until retirement.
Yes.
So when you put money in it, that money's gone for 20 or 30 years. And then you have stock investments and bonds, and that's seen as it's liquid, but it's less liquid than having cash, right? You have to do, you have to sell something, you have to move it from an account to another. You may have a capital gain or a
tax
loss.
implications.
Tax, exactly. So there's reasons why people don't buy real estate; they can't afford it. There's a reason why people don't put more in their 401ks, because a lot of their take home goes towards short-term things. There's a reason why people don't invest in the market, because again, it's less liquid than paying their bills every month, paying their car payment and their rent payment, etc. And then there's what was like an investment for the people, Bitcoin. Like you could get into it, you could get out of it quickly. There's no capital gains. There's no, we're talking 3 or 4 years ago, right? Like something something that the every person could like get in and speculate. That's not a GameStop or whatever. But you think,
and that's the enticing story for a lot of people, is that there was a point at which I could have gone in and I would have been a multimillionaire now. You know what I mean? There's always a sort of FOMO or regret associated with Bitcoin, and I think that's why it's sort of like top of
but you
mind.
think
I realize that it's more top of mind than S&P 500 for most people.
But you think that now it's achieved a point or a status where the common person, put it to lack of a better term, is not as eager to be involved because the volatility and the risks now scares them. So more and more is being concentrated institutionally and in wealthy investors and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that enough? Is that enough? Is that enough for Bitcoin, or is it like the sell-off that you're seeing now? Is it like a lot of people short-term people who are being forced out of the market?
I think by definition is a lot of short-term. So outflows from the ETFs were more than 1.5 billion over the course of a very short period of time, and the ETFs since their inception have been net accumulators of value because they've been the most popular ETFs of all time. A lot of people put their money into it. So in the last week or so, people have been literally dumping out. And these can only really be, for the most part, retail investors. This is their first rodeo. But I think there is another catalyst. I've been hunting down, like, too much stuff moved last week. It wasn't just Bitcoin. There's rumors that there was a hedge fund blow up somewhere and they just had to dump. There was like more than $10 billion worth of Bitcoin was dumped.
From the same source is what you're
That's
saying?
the rumors, yeah. So I think there was a lot at play. You know, I mean, a catalyst in the market, so whether it's stocks or something like that, there may be a story, but it may not be the only source of the movement. Like, okay, there was a story, but then another 50% was a whole bunch of other people sort of following a herd and moving the market along the same way, or then getting liquidated and so on and so forth. So I think the catalyst is there probably was a hedge fund out there that exploded.
Interesting theory.
We'll find about it. Yeah, we'll find about it soon. Eventually, they have to do SEC filings, stuff like that.
If you have questions about Bitcoin or you want to challenge Aussie on any of his predicates or any of his rationale, all questions are welcome. And by the way, jump on the panel. Don't be scared. I mean, we're just talking. I don't know anything about this topic, so I'm just asking questions that you guys pose in the chat. Kamal asks, who's a member of the channel, by the way, one of the biggest underreported risks of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole is the hacking risks from quantum computing that could disrupt the entire market. Do you agree with that?
This is going to be pretty nerdy. So number one, there aren't many theorized weaknesses. Yeah, there aren't many theorized hacks of Bitcoin as it stands, as it sits today. The main potential problem is with wallets that were created pre-2018. If a transaction came through on one of those wallets while quantum computing was a thing, quote unquote, the quantum computer would have 15 minutes to be able to divert the transaction and rewrite it to a different wallet. So that poses that number one sets a sort of a fundamental understanding of what is at stake, and we're talking about balances on very old wallets. So if you want to make sure that your Bitcoin is safe, just transfer it to a new wallet today. Okay. There is still a risk because there are old wallets out there that have a lot of Bitcoin in them, and those could get hacked unless someone takes action to move them out already. So for example, Satoshi's wallet has like 1 million Bitcoin in it. Notionally, he's the richest man in the world if he still exists. If for some reason he came out of, presumed death and executed a transaction, the quantum computer could potentially lift, 1 million Bitcoin, and that could be disastrous, right? So I hope I'm sort of putting into a box like what the risks are. This is sort of like not an open-ended risk. It's a specific risk to old wallets. There are proposals from the Bitcoin core community to close the gap. There are current encryption technologies that are quantum resistant, so they already have it on the cards. There is some friction to implementing it. It would require effectively a hard fork of Bitcoin, which has never happened and would be hugely controversial. But I think if quantum computers did exist and they're functional, it wouldn't be that controversial to fork it. So it really comes down to whether or not quantum computers are close and how long it would take for Bitcoin core or Bitcoin to alter, and whether or not Satoshi is alive. That's completely. So
I have a follow-up
it's not a huge risk ultimately.
I have a follow-up question on that, but I want you to be able to go on mute whenever you want and talk to your kids. So like at any time, if you're family first here, so like if anytime you either need to go or you need to talk to them, just go on mute and we can do other things. So
thank you.
No problem. Family first, guys. This is all about family and then community after that. Watches are like way down the list. What would you say that a bigger risk in people being in cryptocurrencies would be the risk of fraud, just being sucked into one of these, either a phishing scam or some kind of scam. I mean, scams can be in any form, like sending Amazon gift cards or whatever. But Sometimes,
Yeah.
crypto is also another way where you click on a link and then it says put in your key or whatever, check your account, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Is that a bigger risk than like some kind of institutional thing hacking the system?
Yeah, but it's sort of small fries. Like, as in, hopefully you're talking about hot wallets where most you have like $1,000 in there, and then hot wallets, and maybe you lose the money from the hot wallet because you sent it to the wrong address, or it was a scammer. And, there's no credit card, refund service. Like if you buy something from something online and they don't deliver, then there's no recourse of Bitcoin. You sent the value over.
Right.
Hope that answers it. It's going to be small, and ultimately we're in a new age now. If you just want exposure to Bitcoin, you don't have to use it. You can just use the ETF, and you have a lot of benefits of holding the ETF in a brokerage. You get margin, you get the ability to use 401k, Roth options, stuff like that. I think it's the ETFs are really good for most people.
Original Mathis has a very good question, and I think the core of it is that this concept that there's going to be at some point a rug pull. The big guys are going to all pull out. They have a secret pact with each other, and they're just waiting for it to get to some magic number in 2028 or whatever. And boom, they hit a button and they sell it all, and everybody, like people like you and me, are left holding. Everybody's left holding the bag because we're not in the know. What's your reaction to that?
It's natural to be concerned about that and to do your research, but the holdings of Bitcoin are pretty open. It's an open ledger, quote unquote, meaning you can see who holds what. And at the moment, strategy holds the most. Well, BlackRock and strategy. BlackRock in the form of ETF, which is really retail investors, so it's not really the same thing.
Should the fact that BlackRock owns Bitcoin be a concern? I mean,
no. So unlike some tokens like Ethereum, holding Bitcoin doesn't give you any power over the protocol itself. As in, it doesn't give you any power to change the protocol or.
But they could sell.
Like
they could
sell it. Yeah,
they could sell. What impact would something like that have if BlackRock waited for a particular number and then pulled the plug and sold everything?
Well, the price would go way down. It would be up to you whether or not you wanted to buy it. I mean, I would draw an analogy that there's probably some really big funds or family offices that own lots and lots of New York real estate. What's the risk that to everyone if these families sort of like band together and then dump all of their New York real estate on the market? It's like, yeah, there'd be calamity and confusion and price finding, but fundamentally that would be
people would swoop in and buy it.
Right? Yeah, it's like it's not a risk in the way that I think is implied by saying a rug pull.
So you don't agree with the philosophy that so Bitcoin is down 45% or whatever. Now people are finally realizing that the thing has no value and therefore no one's ever going to buy it again. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if there was some kind of technical calamity that actually involved the technology of Bitcoin somehow being, completely violating its value proposition, yeah, okay, that price movement would reflect a reality that it probably was changed in value. But the reality is right now is the Bitcoin that was Bitcoin in 2014 and 2011 and 2019 and 2020 and 2026. Nothing's changed. There's no leadership changes. Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. It's like any price movements. Anytime you see a price movement in Bitcoin, I can tell you why it moved, not because something changed in Bitcoin. That's it. Like, it immediately. It's not because something actually changed.
Yeah. Crypto Talk with Aussie Expat here on the Original OC channel. If you have questions about Bitcoin, I won't be able to answer them. If you want to jump on the panel, if you have the same opinion or a different opinion, or you want to pose questions to Aussie Expat directly on the show, or you want to have a discussion or a debate, feel free to jump on. I'm not going to be able to do it. because I don't know anything about Bitcoin. If you have questions about Aussie personally in his own personal situation, feel free to ask in the chat. It's up to him whether or not he chooses to answer. He may or may not, and that's his prerogative. Nina in the chat asks, "Is Aussie expat from China?" He sounds like it has an Australian accent to me.
Yeah, I'm half Irish, half Filipino.
Okay, so when did you? I know from you personally where you've spent time, where you've worked over the world, but is that something like when did you? Do you want to talk like in general about like where you've been and how you ended up in the United States, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll try to do the quick one. Yeah, so I'm born in Australia. Irish father, Filipino mum. Very poor background. Like my mum was a cleaner.
Your parents don't have money. Your parents are. You don't have like a giant trust fund, and
exactly.
Okay.
And I finished University of Engineering degrees, and sorry.
No worries.
Just give me a second.
Whole Milk's in the chat says Bitcoin talk in a relaxed format. It is a very relaxed format. Aussie expat is in Las Vegas, so it's 70 degrees there. In the Northeast, it's basically negative 37 degrees. It's absolutely ridiculous here. Let me just double check. We're in the middle of a absolute cold freeze until Sunday at noon, and so that's why I'm here in OC Studio, nice and cozy in here. So,
yeah, so as soon as I finished university, I moved to London because I saw there was a lot of opportunities in finance. Spent the next 5 years working for both stock exchanges and banks, mainly London Stock Exchange, Swiss Stock Exchange. So I lived in Zurich for a while. Did a lot of stuff for banks in Southeast Asia, but not Japan. It's always the way things work. It's like Asia ex Japan. Mm-hmm. And then after that, spent a few years in Southeast Asia making mobile apps with my then-to-be wife, from Thailand to Singapore and Malaysia. After that, we wanted to start a family, and I had some old colleagues that had gone to Amazon. Spent the next 11 years in Seattle and Amazon. And the last year I was working for another company, and late last year I retired. My wife retired 2 years ago. So
famously retired. I retired in August 2024. So we're on the similar. You're much younger than I am, but congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. Yeah, doing my best to get healthy and well.
Health is the most important thing. I mean, health can't be bought. So
yeah,
take care
exactly.
of yourself. Watches on Wood asks, I'm not understanding the old wallet versus the new wallet issue. Are we talking cold wallets? Surely they're safe. So as long as you are physically securing them. Is that what you mean?
I'm talking about any wallet pre-2017, cold or hot. Now, the wallet itself isn't hackable, but the transaction from an old wallet at some point in the future when quantum computers presumably exist are theoretically hackable. So basically they can hijack the transaction and transfer the value of the transaction to a different wallet. That's the risk. I hope that explains it. So it is cold and hot wallets, but they can't be dormantly hacked, as in, oh, this is a very, very wealthy wallet, like Satoshi's wallet, and then just start churning against it. That's not the proposed mechanism by which quantum is a threat.
Got it. Vimal does have a question here related to that. With quantum computing getting better, some analysts believe currency encryption might not be enough. Password breaking will be way easier. And then he adds to that, the concern is when quantum computing gets better, it would be able to crack cold wallets through guessing the 24-word recovery codes. So does this make any sense?
Yeah. Can you hear me properly? Because
Yep.
I just switched.
Can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's plausible. As in, that is within the realm of, how would we say, theoretically possible, but it's not really seen as an immediate risk from quantum computers. And if you want to state like an update on like where quantum computers are right now, a lot of the development of quantum computers at the moment isn't developing the quantum computers that would work with Shor's algorithm. So Shor's algorithm is the quantum computer algorithm that is proposed to break a lot of encryption techniques. A lot of the advancements in quantum computers right now, like you see this multi-billion-dollar investments in quantum computing, they're actually for a different type of quantum computing that wouldn't actually result in a computer that can use Shor's algorithm. So while there are rapid advancements in sort of subcategories of optimization problems, they're not Shor's algorithm, and so they're not actually advancing quantum computers that would make a threat to current encryption techniques. I hope that's as best as it can be explained. I mean, this stuff is pretty deep computer science stuff, but yeah, I hope that conveys something.
Pretty good. John D is in the chat. John D asks, Aussie, Warren Buffett defined crypto as an unproductive asset that he'd never own. What are your thoughts on how Warren Buffett sees cryptocurrency?
I mean, that is correct. He's correct. But these are just definitions, they're sort of semantics. Like, for example, all managers are by definition non-productive labor. Like, they're the non-productive workforce, the executives and managers of companies. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that their contribution to companies is literally worthless? I think we can see an issue with that right now. You can't keep adding managers to a company and expect it to do better. You can't have like 15 managers and one worker and say, oh, 20 managers and one worker will be even better. So we kind of understand that non-productive work and things that are quote unquote non-productive, you have to look at them with some nuance, right? It's not a clear-cut thing. A manager doesn't produce an end good, so what is their value contribution to shareholders? Like, I don't know. Just likewise, Bitcoin, it literally doesn't have a function, so you have to look at other areas to consider its value. That's why it's so speculative.
The question that people always ask when it comes to different types of short-term, medium-term, and long-term investments is what percentage of one's wealth should be put in any individual asset class. I mean, we talk about this because we're watch people, and we're always talking about like, hey, listen, you should never have more than 5% of your net worth in watches or whatever it is. Do you think there's a same kind of thinking or formula that goes into someone who has a percentage of their portfolio in Bitcoin or crypto?
Yeah. Give me 5 minutes. I'll dial back in. Okay.
Yeah. No worries. Sounds good. Aussie expat, drop it. I mean, the Bitcoin, the crypto winter is something that is certainly in the news, definitely newsworthy, and impacts people who want to tap into their wealth or their paper wealth in order to buy more watches in 2026. Will the crypto winter actually impact the success of the Swiss watch industry? It remains to be seen. I mean, if people feel like there's turmoil in crypto or in gold or in the markets or whatever, does that impact consumer confidence and therefore make it less likely for people to spend $50, $60, $75, $100,000 on a watch? I will leave it to you guys. We have a lot of other topics that we could get to, but if Aussie wants to jump back on, we can keep talking crypto. And I think it's a good question to know. Like, by the way, what do you think is a good percentage of your investment portfolio to have in crypto? I have my own personal philosophy, but it'd be interesting to know what Aussie's. And if you have a lot of people are going to say 0 in the chat, like, hey, I don't think you should have 0 in crypto. That's cool too. Back it up with thought. We have Whole Milk who says unproductive labor is exactly what I call the original OC channel. 100%. It's unproductive from me, and for you guys watching, it's extremely unproductive. 34% of the people who watch this channel terminate Zoom calls, cancel team meetings, delete Google Meet from their devices just so they can be available to listen to these streams. I think that's incredibly unhealthy and unproductive. Thank you, Loom Pearl, and thank you, Nina, in the chat for upvoting, reminding everybody to upvote. We got over 17 people watching. So let's get to at least 17 votes, 17 upvotes, guys. If you're on the mobile device, tap with your index finger. Don't use your pinky finger because it's not going to work. It's just awkward to do it with your pinky. Use your index finger to tap on the thumbs up icon. If you're on a desktop or laptop computer, you got to use your mouse. You got to use your mouse with the trackpad. Click on the thumbs up. Let's get to 17, guys. Should be able to get with 17 viewers. Let's get to 17. And even though the link is pinned at the top of the chat, I'll drop it right here. It's open panel day. We're going to do a quick 15-minute stream here. We'll cover everything you need to know about the Revy Awards, the Revolution Watch Waco Awards. We may cover that. We've got an exclusive interview with Trax NYC on Vice News. That could drag this show out for at least another 3 to 4 hours. If we decide to go past 15 minutes, that could easily be 3 hours. And I know you guys would really, really love that. I know you love the excruciating detail of playing a clip for 2 seconds and then pausing it for a minute and a half. Or we can do watch talk. But listen, it's open panel. It's potpourri, potluck, one of those P words. Anybody can jump on and anybody can bring up a topic. Literally anybody. By the way, just want to quickly say that there was one person, you guys didn't see it in the chat, but a couple of comments were deleted that mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. That's not a topic we'll be talking about. So like these ridiculous rumors about all the stuff that's going on with Jeffrey Epstein is not a topic that I think is appropriate for this channel. I think, by the way, people who bring up false rumors and they spread these AI generated videos and these memes. I mean, there's no real place for that on this channel. So please don't bring it up because that will be that your chat won't even make it into the chat. And I do think it's disappointing to see people spreading rumors about people in the community. Just because someone jumps on a panel and shares their opinions, it doesn't mean that it's carte blanche to go below the belt and say that they're affiliated with these shady characters. So, like, guys, have some class. Have some class. This isn't the place to do that. And frankly, like, we shouldn't be tolerating that anywhere in our community on any stream. So that's just my personal opinion. Someone we can tolerate, however, is Aussie Expat, who's back.
Just waiting on the Happy Meals thing. So,
by the way,
I don't know. Should I pick up on that percentage thing you talked about?
Yeah, please do. I mean, because I haven't calculated yet what percentage of my portfolio is in. I'll be blunt. I have Bitcoin and XRP, so in roughly equal amounts, maybe. But but not a lot. Not a lot. I mean, not like I don't have $1 million in crypto.
Mhm.
So it's enough where if I lost it tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me one bit. If it tripled, it wouldn't make me a millionaire. So
I think the first part is, what can you hold is ultimately like the biggest question for most people.
right.
And
we were talking
that's
about that
very
earlier
personal.
because you know, if you're in real estate, it's something you have to hold. If you put 15% of your earnings in a 401k, it's something that gets held. You're not going to be able to touch it. So that liquidity is a key factor. So like liquidity and risk mitigation, you know, right?
And tolerance, and it's very psychological. So I recommend to anyone the book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. That's a really good book. But basically, the way you're brought up, the things you're brought to be familiar with, these tend to guide what investments you're comfortable with. But if you just want to go scientifically on paper, what's proven, stocks perform really, really well. S&P 500 does really, really well. So for the most people, they should be S&P 500. Most people simply are not, though. That's reality. Most people are real estate, or zero. I'd say if you're looking at all of the crypto and Bitcoin, I would look at it a little bit like the S&P 500. If you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, it would represent like 1 or 2% of the S&P 500. And if you're comfortable with S&P 500, say you're at 100% allocation to it, maybe 1 or 2% of that could be Bitcoin. But it's all predicated on whether or not you can hold it. If it's small enough that you can not be worried about it when it does.
Let me see if I understand, because a lot of people, like up until the last year, some of the people were saying a good number to have is like 5%. Don't put more than 5% of your portfolio in crypto, because that's an acceptable level of risk. Is your number lower than that, or is it? I'm just asking.
My tolerance is pretty high, so we're talking, somewhere between 20 and 30%. That's the range, but it's not 100. I'm majority standard stuff.
Yeah.
But it's certainly enough that gives me a little bit of pause. And it's also enough that if it really explodes, it would change my life.
Right.
So that's where I'm comfortable.
And you feel like we talk about this too. Like it could go to 0, but then it could also go to 200, and no one really knows, or it could go anywhere in between. But it could just seesaw and do this thing where it goes from 60 to 120, then down to 80, then up to 160, then down to 50, then up to 200, and you have to be able to stomach that. And timing it could be like really detrimental.
Very detrimental.
Explain the philosophy though of never selling, because this is the part, like we were talking about Kevin O'Leary earlier on a call, and it's like Kevin O'Leary's in watches. He spends a lot of his time buying piece uniques. He goes to the manufacturer, whether it's AP or Journe or whatever. It's like, make me a piece unique. And I think he does it because he wants those watches to be extremely valuable. And then he'll say something like, well, I'm never going to sell them. But like, how do you ever realize the value of something if you never sell it?
So I think literal never sell a single ounce of it ever isn't necessarily the same thing as like, oh, I'll never sell it.
See, but like, you never know where the top is, right? So unless in your mind you think, listen, 124 isn't a top. In my mind, I'm convinced this is going to 224, not 124. So if it gets to 124 again, you know what? I didn't sell it the first time. I'm not going to sell it the second time. Or is there part of the mentality is, you know what? Well, it reached 124 last time. If by God it gets back up there again, woohoo! I'm getting out. I mean, what is like how do you approach that whole idea of?
Well, I'd say it's not actually dissimilar to any other investment. When people build up a portfolio, their intention isn't to spend it all. Right? You don't build up a portfolio of your lifetime, then go trying to get financially independent, retire early, and then say, oh, I have a nest egg of like 6 million. Now it's time to spend it, literally all of it. You know what I mean? So what it would look like is, and I know people who had like north of $100 million plus allocations, and they're not selling, but they are funding their lifestyle with distributions of it. So from their perspective, they're not really selling, but they might sell like 0.5% of the total stash just so they can live their life. But that's true of any other investment like S&P 500
Yeah, you're
or
right.
real
It's
estate.
it's just like any other asset that you have, and you choose how much of it you can be liquidated, or how much. I mean, with other investments, though, you're generating a return. In Bitcoin's case, it's just appreciation only. There's no dividends, or it's not throwing off any other income.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not really dissimilar to. Thank you. Dissimilar to any other, thing that you would have in your portfolio. The intention isn't to liquidate it all, or if you're happy with the investment, your intention isn't to say, "Oh, S&P 500 is high. Now's the time to turn it all into cash." Like that's not how you manage a portfolio.
Boris is in the chat. He says that he lost 30% of his investments because of this fiasco. That would mean, if you just do the simple math, which a lot of people can't do, that means that he basically had roughly 2/3, between 60 and 70% of his entire investment holding in crypto.
Or he was holding things other than Bitcoin, and those other things have lost way more.
Okay.
Like Solana's down to like 70 or 60 or something.
Boris, if you want to share exactly which cryptocurrencies you are in, if you feel like sharing, share and let us know, because there is a difference between Bitcoin and some of the others. I think Bitcoin fell less than some of the others, but others are way more volatile. It's just, so they go up more too.
But I want to draw a comparison to say like holding S&P 500 versus holding a single stock. If S&P 500 goes down, you can continue holding. You know what I mean? Like just hold it. But if an individual stock goes down, you need to go in and have a look at, like, something could have happened. CEO did something. There could be some competitor that had a better setup. You have to go in. Like the answer to single stocks isn't that you have to buy and hold throughout everything, because you have to keep an eye on whether the management has been doing the right thing. The same is true for most cryptos other than Bitcoin. You have to go in and see, like, have the management been lying to you? The utility rates that they purport and deliver value on, those plausible and growing? So yeah, I would, if it's Bitcoin, I wouldn't reinspect it. I would just, your option is to hold or you chicken out and sell.
Never,
the
but
other cryptos you may need to reallocate.
You certainly don't sell if it's falling. Is your mentality wouldn't be like, if it's falling, even in a state of falling, that's definitely not a time to sell.
Yeah, but out of other cryptos or other stocks, it may be your best choice to.
Crypto is boring, says Nina. Thank you very much.
Maybe.
Feel free to click away at any time. The show is actually more boring than this normally. So if you have an issue with the excitement level of today's program, then you will not like the show normally, because it's way more boring than this. ASMR fucking watch talk is what it typically is. Whole Milk says, apply the merchant share to crypto. I don't know what that is. Do you know?
That's interesting. I don't know what that is.
Merchant share.
The only other thing that I would say that you should always look at when you're proportioning a portfolio is look at the Kelly criterion. Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, like Kelly bag. Kelly criterion. And it's a thing based on gambling, trying to optimize wager sizes. And there's a good relationship to how you should look at a portfolio. Even if you think of something as a sure thing, expected value, doesn't mean the optimal wager size of 100%.
You're a quant by nature. You're an inquisitive person, but also technically savvy. Have you ever thought, and just so happens that you're in Las Vegas, do you ever apply some of your theories or analysis or strategizing to gamification of like card games or roulette or anything like that, or or do you not engage in gambling, for lack of a better term?
I definitely have, but it normally just is me doing simulations. So I've written quite a few simulations of blackjack, and I love looking at the properties of gameplay and expected return.
Got it. I'll leave it at that. Merton share is similar to the Kelly criteria.
Oh, cool. I'll look it up. I love Kelly criterion, but it's obviously not specific to portfolio management. So if Merton share is more specific to portfolio management, I'll definitely take a look. I think it's a good idea to understand how to quantify what the optimal shares of things should be.
So what the news over the past several days has been a lot of preoccupation with Bitcoin and crypto, but there's also been a lot of talk about tech industries investment in capacity for AI. I think somewhere well over $500 billion has been pledged by many companies to invest in AI processing, and people are interpreting that different ways. And like, you see the stocks go up or stocks go down. Oh my God, why are they putting why is Google investing $180 billion in AI? So sell the stock. They're not going to make it. I think
apparently there's an optimal amount of capex. It needs to be north of 100 billion. We're going to 200 billion. We'll drop the stock.
Wrong. Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong. Too much.
Yeah, but they're going to be winners and they're going to be losers, right? AI is a thing. It is going to impact certain industries. I mean, most people I know that do a search on Google. The first thing you see is like an AI generated summary, right? Based on it's pulling stuff from forums and pulling stuff from different places, and you read it and you go, you know what? I think most of the time people say, you know what, this is pretty helpful. This is actually pretty accurate. Is that that's an end user? Now it's free, but that's an end user application of how AI impacts, adds value maybe, or impacts the quality of life. But there's a lot of other things that these companies are looking at, making workforces more efficient. They're looking at workforce reductions, through the use of artificial intelligence. Well, I mean,
it's pretty evident that Amazon's layoffs now were really more about bringing up cash flow to sustain the $200 billion spend. Like, there's no real. Basically, Amazon doesn't have an operating cash. It's all going to. They just took everything that they possibly thought they could, and then converted it to capex.
Mm-hmm.
So it's remarkable. I mean, I don't even know how you spend $200 billion in a year. I'm not sure if they said $200 billion a year, but I think that's what they said. I mean, that's literally $1 billion every day trying to build real world stuff. It's not just like, oh, we're going to spend $1 billion in stock buybacks every day. It's how do you spend $1 billion if the result is supposed to be like real world data centers and stuff? Like that's crazy.
Right. People tend to think of Amazon as, listen, they have a website like where I go and I buy like groceries and stuff, and it comes in a box. And yeah, that's a big chunk of their revenue. I mean, nearly half of their revenue is from that model that we all know. But they also provide business services, and part of those business services are, obviously cloud infrastructure, like AWS,
databases, storage,
databases, things like that. So that was something that you wouldn't think that they would have gotten into that, but it's like they use web services for their own, for themselves to function. They say, listen, if it's good enough for us to use, we'll productize it. We'll sell it to other people. So we'll make data centers and cloud services available to those people, and that's like a big chunk of the revenue. So like when people ask like, hey, why is Amazon getting involved in like investing in AI? Well, it's like a couple of reasons. I mean, for their own workforce and productivity, but then the second thing is like to be an undisputed leader in having that processing power and capability available to sell to other people. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I think the breakdown is like, I think the retail business is like 100 130 billion a year. The compute business is like 36 billion, but the profitability of the compute business is higher.
Are you a
So-
reader? How do you consume information?
TikTok. All TikTok.
Man, yeah. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook are not good sources of useful information. It's really how much of what percentage of would you say is entertainment and I don't want to say propaganda in the sense that it's anything sinister about it, but like useless information.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Myths.
I bring up TikTok because I mean it sounds stupid, but if you listen to like the Financial Times and what's a New York newspaper like Wall Street Journal, something like that.
Mhm. Yep.
That's also really dumb. That's just as dumb. Like honestly,
Just as bad, meaning like not valuable.
yeah. Really, like you could spend your entire life reading front to back the Financial Times and Wall Street Journal. It will not make you a better investor. It'll probably make it worse, much worse. So I only say that just to make sure people understand that much of the world's complexity is ignorable.
That dovetails into a question from 4-star review. Aussie, are there any books that you would recommend on investing? Are there any authors or any sources of information you think are good sources for people to get into the topic of investing?
Yeah, I really love that question. I'm really a big fan of books. If you're starting from near zero, or you want to help someone who's very young, I would say The Richest Man in Babylon is gold. It's a very good book. And then if you're a little bit further down the line and you are actually making meaningful strides to investing, then The Psychology of Money is really good. And then if you're like getting into real sort of trying to really understand markets and stuff like that, I recommend Nassim Taleb's Fooled by Randomness or Black Swan. Those are really good. But after reading Fooled by Randomness, Black Swan, just put your money in S&P 500. But like, I don't really advocate for Taleb's investing strategy, but I think it's really important to understand the risks that you take by taking the normal path, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Good, helpful advice. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing. Mathis says AI is nothing but a fancy copy and paste system for Momos. Very simple. Could be. Mathis has a way of simplifying things down to the crux of the matter, to the kernel of the truth.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
All right, so you're at McDonald's. True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of my favorite place. I go there at least 6 times a week to get coffee.
Dr. Pepper.
Coffee. No, I mean the cans of Dr. Pepper Zero come from the grocery store, but the cafes come from McDonald's. They're launching this big arch. Have you seen this thing? Oh my god!
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, quarter pound is good. Having more of it can't be too bad.
Let me see if I can pull up a video here. Yeah, the big arch is like it's like a kind of a Big Mac-ish kind of sandwich, but with 2 quarter-pounder sized patties.
Yeah,
which sounds good to me.
It's probably a little too much for me. My son could do it, but I can't.
I think we should hold on a second here. Let me boom. Share this with you guys. So it's got a sesame and poppy seed bun, and then it's got 2 quarter pounder beef patties, and there's crispy onions, and then the slivered onions, and they've got this arch sauce, which is probably similar to the Big Mac sauce. Then you got 3 slices of, I think it's 3 slices of white cheddar. So this thing, man, this looks, I'm going to do it just, I think we should all do this on March 3rd, which is when the burger launches. I think the entire community should go and do a review of the Big Arch.
I like they resisted the urge to make it a club sandwich because I don't think that really flies. It's way too much stuffing to begin with to go next for a slice of bread.
What do you mean by club sandwich? You mean like something in the, like another bread, the bread in the middle, like the Big Mac?
Yeah.
Got it. What are the kids' go-tos? Chicken McNuggets? Or are they into burgers or what? Oh, he's gone. He gone. All right. Well, we're 8 minutes now into the show. We've got 7 minutes left. We're gonna do a quick 15-minute show. And thanks, Aussie Expat. If he wants to jump back on, he can. Or if anybody else wants to jump on, feel free. It's burger talk in a relaxed format. We could do Tracks NYC. We could new interview with Vice News. We could go through that, or we could cover the Waco Awards. Waco has launched a new Watch Awards thing, and we could go through some of the Watch Awards that he and his colleague Constant Kwang have come up with for to recap 2026. So I could do a poll, but no one's even interested. We could just pull the plug right now. We could pull the plug early. We don't have to go all the way to 15 minutes. Got look at this. We got Hawaii's checking in. Speedy Hernandez. Hey fuckers. Member of the channel. By the way, if you have a star next to your name, quickly check and see if you have a free member milestone chat. Now you do that, like see where it says chat if you're on the phone, and then there should be like a smiley face and like a dollar sign or like some kind of currency icon. Click on the currency icon, which is what you would normally do to either send a super sticker or a super chat. You may have a whole section there that says free member milestone chat. Go ahead and use that before you lose it, because you only get one free per month. That counts as a $200 super chat. So if you guys could just please check and see if you have those available. Each one that gets sent basically counts as a $200 super chat. So I would really appreciate it. I'm rocking I'll show you guys. You probably want to see me rocking the Sea Dweller. The Sea Dweller. Check it out. Dang, the thing is big. Let's fire up the loom. Let's fire up the loom on this puppy. There we go. Look at that. It's stainless steel. Look at that giant clasp. Giant clasp. It's got the diver extension. It's got glide lock. It's got the flip lock. It's got the full brushed oyster steel bracelet. Look how thick that is. It just sits up off. Look at that gap. Look at this gap right here. Sits up like up off the wrist. Look at that. I could pull it down like this, like Tommaso does. Look how it slides under a cuff, guys. Look how easily it slides under a cuff. I can recommend this watch for wrists as small as 15 centimeters in circumference. It's the Rolex. Oyster Perpetual Sea Dweller, 43 millimeters. All right. Let's do, nobody has a preference for whether or not they want to see the Webby Awards or the Trax interview. Should we do the Webbies? What should we do? It's up to you guys. Or I'll just sit here and do nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. I got nothing to do. I can kill time. This is probably making you guys really, really hungry. So I should probably get that off the screen. Off the screen. Let's see here. Boom. Hey, got Tan in the chat. Hope everything is good in France. We got a lot of international viewers here. I love the international viewers. Hello, OC. Hello, Tan. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We've also got domestic viewers as well, like Psych Student Minnesota. Hey, OC, love the Sea Dweller. I sold mine in 2020 when my Hulk came in. It was just too big of a watch to wear comfortably. Yeah, it's a big puppy. It's kind of crazy big. The authorized dealer gave me what I paid for it in 2018. That's the great thing about Rolex. The incredible thing about Rolex is you can buy it, you can wear it, and trade it in, and you won't lose your shirt. You won't lose your shirt. Congrats on the Hulk. That's a Hulk with the super case in 2020. It was like right before it was discontinued. Wasn't it discontinued in like 2022 or was that 2020? When did the new Submariner come out? When did the 126040 come out? 2020. Yeah. So that means you got the Hulk in the last year, basically the last year of its production run. Very cool. That's a cool story. Cool story indeed. Screw Bitcoin, Psych Student says. Yes, I got the last one. The last one in 2020. Good for you. This has been out for quite a while. Quite a while. Let me see here. There's also, we could also talk watches. So like we have a variety of things from which to choose. Yeah, the big Bitcoin stuff was good. A lot of positive comments about Aussie Expat's appearance on the panel last time he was on, and so it was good for him to jump on again. So Aussie is somebody that I've met in person. So like probably 90% of the people that you see on these streams, I know them personally. So Aussie's a good guy. Met him in person. Last time we did a big meetup in Vegas. We do our annual thing in Vegas. We did one, was it 2025? Yeah. We did the big Las Vegas meetup in 2025. And Aussie Expat was there. And by the way, he took me to breakfast. Super nice guy. He's like, hey, you want to go to breakfast the next day? Like, yeah, let's do it. Super nice guy. Very generous. So I got to ride in the family mobile that he was just in with the kids. So ask me any question you want to know about Aussie Expat, and I'll tell you all about his $18 million portfolio. He showed me the spreadsheet. He showed I know all the details. I think this watch AP slammed it out of the park. They did. They just nailed it out of the park. Someone sent me some pictures of an event that happened last night here in New York City. It's some AP collectors got together. The AP community is absolutely ecstatic with these releases. The blue ceramic, the new code open worked, and these new 38 millimeter Royal Oak chronos are a big hit. Psych student MD says, I leave. Don't give the name of the ship. Doxed. I leave on Explorer Journeys, Explorer 1 ship on Thursday. Yes, they do have a Rolex AD on board. I have an appointment. Hopefully I can get something good. I hope so. I was like, I don't understand the concept of having a Rolex store on board if they're not going to sell anything. I mean, they better have watches. It doesn't make any sense to take people on a cruise, have a store, and then not be able to sell people watches. So good luck. Good luck. I'm going on a cruise. I don't want to say where or when, but we're doing a big family cruise this summer. It's me, Mrs. OC, my son, my daughter, my daughter's boyfriend. We're hitting Europe. We're hitting Europe. You know how much expensive it is for 5 people to go to Europe? Dude, it's expensive. Let's see. Text messages. Oh, nice. Holy crap. That's a beautiful picture. You have an amazing collection. Am I allowed to say on the air, or I'm not allowed? Can I pull the picture up? Speedy Hernandez says Aussie Expat has an. Did I say 18? No. I meant 28. 28 million, and about 25% in Bitcoin. So he's worth 17,900,000 more than Tim G. I don't know anything about Tim G. Nothing about it. Although I am one of the people who I've met Tim G in person. That's the interesting thing is, like, there are hundreds and hundreds of people who talk about Tim G. There are only 3 people in the entire community who've ever met Tim G. And I'm one of them. And so, like, there are lots of people who like to talk about Tim G. I know the guy. I met him. Actually met him in person. Oh, just for me. Okay. Whew, that's a nice watch. Beautiful watch, whoever just sent me that picture. Yeah. Wear it in great health. That's awesome. If you send me messages, a lot of people find that it's the perfectly opportune time to send me messages in the middle of a live stream. I don't mind it at all. Nothing wrong with that. Send me links, send me pictures on Instagram, send me WhatsApp messages. You know, sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. So don't be offended. I can't see everything that comes in real time. But sometimes I do my best. I do my best. I give it 100% at least 20% of the time. So I really do give it my all 20% of the time. By the way, the Olympics are going on. I saw a little bit of the opening ceremonies. They were decent. A lot of people talking about Omega and their sponsorship, their Olympic sponsorship. They introduced some models a few months ago, and I'm not going to bother to pull them up because they're boring. I mean, how many Speedmasters are they going to come out with? I mean, come on. Enough is enough. We really can't do speedy talk here. And they also came out with a Seamaster too, a white Seamaster with a white rubber strap. But come on. If you like the Seamaster Diver 300M, you probably had one prior to the Olympic Special Edition. Speedy, horrendous. I'm the opposite. I give 20% effort 100% of the time. That's consistency, at least. I like the consistency. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the Waco Awards. Why? Because I got nothing better to do. And it's kind of watch related. It's watch related. And what we'll do is you guys in the chat can tell me whether or not you agree or disagree with their choices. Okay? By the way, they put very little effort. I'm going to show you this here. Hold on a second. Let me show you the screen. I'm going to change screens. Boom. Boom. Aussie Expat is back.
Today, I'm back home, so it should be a little bit more stable now.
All good. Hey, again, family comes first. So if you need to spend time with the family, the kids, please prioritize that as task number one.
No worries. Yeah, should be controllable.
Peruka, listen, we were almost going to shift to Watch Talk, but now that you're back,
no, we can do whatever.
Yep, we'll do Watch Talk. Peruka says, can we hate on the Debatoon and Louis Vuitton for a little bit? Ugh. Do I have to? I mean, I don't like even covering Louis Vuitton, let alone a collaboration of Debatoon and Louis Vuitton together. That sounds like torture. It sounds like torture. Swiss, do I really have to? No, I'm going to say no. We cannot. Let's go to the Webby Awards. Ready? All right. So Revolution Magazine, which is run by publisher Waco and his colleague, the guy who runs Revolution Asia, Constant Kwang, met both of them in Dubai for Dubai Watch Week. Cool guys.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I've met Waco several times. It's always been very nice. I got some good pictures with him, especially in Geneva. We were having dinner at the FP Journe restaurant. He was sitting across from us.
Wow.
There. Yeah.
How big is running Revolution, do you think? Like what kind of operation? How many riders, photographers? How does this all work?
I don't know, but the magazine, which let me see if I have one handy. I kind of threw a lot of them away. Hold on a second. I mean, the magazine is chunky. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's like a full catalog of stuff. I mean, how much is advertising? It's like 20%, 50%?
It's a lot of advertising, and I'm assuming that the brands do a good job keeping him in business. But it's also a lot of great pictures and articles.
Do the articles have bylines? Do they all have bylines? Or is it an article with no byline?
No, they're all written by like Waco or different correspondents. They have bylines. Yeah.
Do they have? Interesting. So I had some experience talking to the Australian Financial Times, and that's a newspaper. Okay, so that's a slightly higher standard than I would say a trade mag. And they just wanted from people like me articles that they could just publish. Like they didn't really want to do the research and do their own stuff. They just wanted like, could you just, if you know more stuff about the market, could you just write up an article and then we'll just cursorily alter it and then publish it. And I'm just wondering how much of the content of a magazine, a trade mag like that, is really just coming straight from the industry itself, as opposed to like an outsider's journalistic perspective.
I bet if you ever see Revolution magazine in person, and I get these for free. I don't know why I get them. Maybe you sign up for Watches and Wonders and they have your name or whatever. They give it to Revolution.
Yeah.
But this is a 200 page magazine.
Crazy.
It's heavy. I mean, weighs a lot. And the retail price is $15 at the newsstand.
Right.
So
but I got Golf Digest for like many, many years. I never paid for it. Right. Like the reality is of like these trade mags is that, it's advertising driven. And then the articles themselves are also effectively advertising as well. Like I put it, one of the most brilliant shows that I admire from a business perspective of all time was Ellen DeGeneres' show. And Ellen's show had literal infomercials in there. You know what I mean? Like new products. So like the entire segments that were just products and companies. Yep. But that's the show. And then they would run ad breaks as well. So it's ad breaks plus the show, which is sponsored segments. And then the celebrities, usually the celebrities are there part of a promotional tour for a thing. So it's literally 100% advertising just in different packages. But Ellen's an entertainer. Once you start getting to like magazines and newspapers, you kind of feel like, well, where's the objectivity? And I tell you where it is, folks. It's on Original OC's channel. That's it.
I don't know about objectivity because we're very biased here.
Well, I mean, biased in a way that you care about and not just like whoever's paying the bills.
No, we don't accept. We are not influenced by anybody. First of all, no one has offered to pay any bills, and it would be rejected. Any attempt to influence the quality control on the channel would be swiftly rejected. So, but the way Ellen was an extremely well-produced show. It's not a commentary on her politics or positions, social positions, or anything like that. It's an extremely well-produced show. There's a reason why it was on for as many years as it was. And a lot of it is, I mean, the different, like you mentioned, the different ways that they productized it and packaged things. They would do a news story about someone, and it was like a feel-good story. And then at the end, they'd get, and American Express would like to give you a $10,000 gift card, to show your appreciation for being such a great teacher in Springfield, Illinois, or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that American Express would get their 5 seconds with a big check on the screen or whatever it was.
It was an amazing show, just from like, if you look at it from an eyeball of money, and it's just like, wow, getting people to watch literal advertising back to back 100%. You get the celebrity endorsement aspect. You get, it is like peak capitalism and advertising. Like it was amazing.
A lot of that came from the genesis with like Oprah Winfrey when she started doing her favorite things. Like, hey, literally it was organic. Like, hey, here's things that I like and books that I read. And all of a sudden it's like Oprah Book Club. And now it's like people are paying to, I think there was the famous one where General Motors paid to have 271 Grand Prix or Grand Dams or whatever it was.
You get a car.
Everybody gets a car. It's like, and so it morphed into kind of like a product segment. But what do you think? I mean, this is kind of related to watches because the people in social media, where most of the people are getting their information about watches today, I don't know where they got it way back then because I wasn't around. but they get it from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And their social media is influencing and is the primary source of information for watches. And that those media is absolutely is absolutely inundated with these douchebag influencers who are on the take. They're being paid by Moser, they're being paid by Oris, they're being paid by these different brands to go to these events. Hey, I'm going to this incredible event at Moser. The Moser Club is so awesome, and let's go in and take a look. And then these awful videos of them there. It's so transparent, and I find that really distasteful. That you're not because they don't disclose it to their audiences, and they really should. And number two, just the blatant spruiking of brands that are, brands that are basically brands that people in the watch community should not be considering, in my humble opinion, and will end up losing money on. So you have a Moser in your part of your 22-piece collection?
I'm down to 2 brands, Tudor and Rolex. I got rid of the Omega. Yeah, I really like Moser. I personally really, really like Moser. I haven't got one, but I do like it. But I understand what you're saying.
You like it, not enough to own it, which is perfectly fine. It's good to like watches. It's good to love certain watches, as long as you have additional criteria for whether or not you actually buy the watch.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of halfway comes down to lifestyle to some extent. I mean, any of the high horology stuff is really not appropriate for me. I mean, if I end up getting a Royal Oak, it's just because you can't pass up an opportunity. I have certain misgivings about it, but I would still also enjoy it. I wouldn't say I'm not going to enjoy it, but
are the misgivings about the watch or the brand or the direction, or what are the misgivings?
Yeah, you could say in all directions. So the brand, I don't like who they choose as ambassadors, who they think represents the brand. None of that really speaks to me. They tend to like doing, oh, sorry, got a potty time. I'll show you the watch. Hold on. We were talking about high horology here. We got a potty timer. So that's telling me my daughter has to go pee, but she just did. So another 90 minutes.
Good.
So there's a high horology right here.
I have the same thing. I set the bezel for every 7 minutes. It's every 7 minutes.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The brand. So I don't like what they associate with. Like they like footballers. Like, do you remember the John Mayer thing in Dubai? And they had, who was the footballer? I don't know many footballers, but it was so awkward and awful. that whole RD5 thing. It was kind of very cringy. Very, very cringy. And I feel like the way Rolex are doing, like Yuja Wang as an ambassador, amazing choice. Said my wife's going to see her in about 2 hours time in LA.
Nice.
So yeah, I just don't really like AP's choice. It's sort of like rappers and soccer players #1. It's pretty basic bitch in terms of trying to find influential people. Then the watches themselves, I like the Royal Oak, but for me, I'm really a Rolex guy. I really appreciate when the movements are robust and it's a watch that you can wear every day to everything. I really highly value that. I may try and beat the shit out of this Royal Oak if I get one, and we'll discover how painful the experience is.
One thing you're going to have to get used to is the bracelet, because it doesn't have micro adjustment, and a lot of people find, as you go from air conditioning to outside and back in, that this thing, if I wear it tight, it gets a little bit too tight. If I wear a little bit loose, it creates a situation where it starts digging into your skin. It leaves these marks, and you might not find it as comfortable as a lot of people who have Royal Oaks. Some people find it super comfortable. A lot of people complain that it's not as comfortable as they would hope, and therefore they wear it at night or special occasions instead of like as a daily.
I saw on the Royal Oak forum, on the AP forum, is there any real difference? On those Royal Oak forum,
Same thing. Same thing.
same thing. That they asked like, what's everyone's daily wearer? Like, what do they wear on the daily? And it was more than 50% said Submariner. Steel Submariner, that's their daily. So I don't know. You know, there's a place for special watches, for special things and feeling special. And I think that's okay too. So Royal, you know, maybe the Royal Oak isn't, maybe there isn't a dailyable Royal Oak. Yeah, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But does it matter? I don't know. Maybe it's a pure watch collector's watch.
What are the odds that a variant of the Royal Oak will make it into the finalists? Or actually, the finalists have already been named. Now, the actual winners of the Revy Awards or the Waco Awards or whatever he calls it.
Oh dear.
I can guarantee. I don't know. But there's got to be an AP in here. Come on.
AP and Waco seem to be. I mean, it was very cringy, that Dubai late night with John Mayer thing, because Waco is meant to be a third party to the brand, but he was the biggest spruiker of the brand and the watch on that show. I tell you what was really funny was the girls who are coming from the fashion world side of things. I don't know. I'm not trying to mischaracterize where they came from. That's what I remember. They were a little bit more reserved in their how would I say, superlatives used for describing the AP and the RD5. That they were a little bit more. It felt like more of a real conversation. Rather than a sales pitch.
I think that is a fair point, indeed. By the way, there was an article recently. I might have pulled it up on the screen. Let me see here. Let me find it. Let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Just be careful about. Actually, let's just we'll stick with Waco. Like let's not get sidetracked. Let's go straight into the Revy Awards. These are Revolution Magazine's Watch of the Year kind of categories. We'll try to zoom through this, and you guys in the chat who are not paying attention at all, which is totally fine. You're probably like half asleep, or you're like doing yard work or going for a walk or whatever. That's totally allowed. But if you have any opinions, feel free to jump in, and let's go to the video.
And, you know, I'm going to quote John Mayer here, who says that the first thing that he says after he finishes listening to a new song from a friend of his, for example, is to play it again, right?
Okay.
Because he feels that you don't completely process the information until you've actually had time to reflect about it.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I get it. We're now in February and new watches are coming out like a tsunami of horology,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. A few breaths.
But no, one thing that we should always remember are the absolute price of watches is very expensive, first of all. And second of all, it's an object that's meant to endure forever. So just because watches were introduced last year doesn't mean they're any less relevant to me.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
Like everything that came out last year should just be as wonderful, as relevant, as dynamic, as, you know, horological.
So in other words, we didn't have time to do this in January. So and we were too busy in late December to put together the list of the awards for 2025. So don't worry. Our excuse is that watches are so incredible that we could have put this out, like the 2025 Watch of the Year awards. We could have put them out in May or June because watches are timeless. And there's absolutely no reason why we should be held to any kind of time standard when we think about recapping the year.
Seductive.
I agree that
This is what-
this is definitely a little bit of a cope, but I do like the overall sentiment, although it might go against his clients' perspectives, because for sure the watch brands want you to be interested in the new watches and to buy new watches. But I do think about this quite often, that what a lot of watches, they're supposed to stand the test of time. So why do you want the most recent release? It sort of goes against the whole idea of a watch being a timeless thing. That, like, how can it be, if they're truly timeless, that you're always wanting only like the newest shit? It should perhaps be a check and balance to in there to make sure that you're not just sucking down marketing. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, that's a good point. And another good point is that we are playing a video that is copyrighted material, and we are doing so consistent with United States copyright laws under fair use. We're doing commentary analysis, and this is newsworthy. So we're 100% playing copyrighted content. We want to give a big shout out to our friends at Revolution Watch. The YouTube channel is in the chat. Go check out the video and their entire portfolio of content for yourself. Thank you. And again, I've met these two guys. They're cool guys in person, and I appreciate their support. Let's get to the action. Let's see what the categories are, and let's see if you agree with their choices in these categories.
Is when it was launched last year.
10 years later, 20 years later.
Correct.
10 years, listen, the 2025 awards could come out in 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, because these watches are designed to be completely timeless in their design. And as a matter of fact, they're going to be doing another edition of this where it's the watch of the year for 2015. And they're going to have the benefit of 10 years of perspective to see what the watch of the year for 2015 is. Stay tuned for that video coming up very soon from these guys.
Still going to be relevant, yeah.
I mean, I think about stuff that was launched in the early 2000s.
Me too.
Right? And
See?
there's stuff there that's still that has aged so well, right?
That's right.
It's funny that last year Roger Dubuis launched the
La Placide, yeah.
La Placide
Oh,
double perpetual.
that's the watch. That's the exact watch about which I was thinking, Aussie.
Mm-hmm.
That this watch, I'm reading. I'm not cheating. I'm just reading. This is a double retrograde perpetual calendar. I knew that because I'm an expert on the dials and stuff, like Kevin O'Leary. I'm a real expert on complications, not because I'm reading it for the first time now. But yeah, to me, this is what a hit this was last year. And for it to be, we shouldn't forget about something incredible like this. And it harkens back to like the original design that came out in 1937 or whenever it did. And now it's back. That just proves that these designs and these complications and these utilities are absolutely timeless and do stand the test of time.
Calendar, watch that came out like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
That's exactly what I just said. Came out in the late 90s or 2000s, and now it's back. It's back in a modern form, taking advantage of modern technology. What do you think of this one?
It's horrifying.
Shout out to AC Morgan, who's a huge fan of Roger Dubuis. He's like, my favorite person who likes Roger Dubuis is AC Morgan. And I think
Would a Roger Dubuis fan like this watch?
yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I think so. Why not?
Don't they do like crazier case designs and stuff? Like,
They have like a cushion case design that's a little bit different, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than just the standard design here. But the dial is crazy looking.
Yeah. I mean, I normally look to you for like real insight into design. I really respect you for that.
I know.
This is like a weird combination of like super crazy design, but then the case is like $30 truck stopwatch. I don't know.
No, this does give me kind of Frank Mueller kind of vibes. Maybe it's just the way the type font of the numerals and how they get smaller and bigger. But there are a lot of people like retrogrades just as a visual complication, how it how it snaps
Mhm.
back, and retrogrades are great for seconds because there's a lot of visual movement there. Not so much with days of the week because you're asleep when that moves, so you don't really get to see that move,
Yeah.
but you do get to see it kind of in a fixed position.
I feel like the weekend has to be highlighted a little better, even though I don't work anymore. It doesn't matter, but the
Highlight the
weekend's
weekend.
always special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make SA and SU like in green or like in red or something. Like those are 2 days the days of rest or relaxation or something.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like they deserve some sort of prominent place. Like it's just sort of. Yeah, I mean, you could put anything in that bar, in that bar. Like it's just appropriately fitted, but it'd be cool if they did something a little bit more special with the days.
Yep. Interesting is that this watch doesn't have there's only 4 hour indices on the watch at the 11, 1, 5, and 7. And that's usually like a really big thing for watch designers, like, to have when that hour hand is coming, having something visually that says, although, I mean, I guess you got to be
You
an
got the
idiot.
minute hand.
You got to be an idiot to not know that that's 10:07 or whatever. Because you have the minute track there, but you don't have an hour track. But you should be able to. You do have the 50, which is kind of the visual marker of where the 10 would be. So,
Although it is, not as immediately obvious because of all those curved tracks internally.
I think most people are pretty good. I know I'm extremely good at looking at a watch without anything on a dial and just knowing by looking at the hand placement, knowing exactly what the time is.
Yeah. That's what I like about watches. Like you don't even need to read out a watch to know the time if you've used an analog watch your entire life. You don't need to read it out. Like I get a feeling of time more than I have this little talking idiot in my head going, it is 10 past 10. Like when I read the time, that's not what I'm doing. I just look at it, and the visual impression is all I need to know whether or not I'm before or ahead of time or whatever I need.
Thank you, Tan, for the comment. Yes, I like this watch too. I'm not sure if I said I liked it, but if I did, then you like it too, and I appreciate that. Back to the video. Let's get to the awards.
You know what I mean? And that watch is still as cool as it was 25 years ago.
Cooler, man. Let's put it there.
So every one of these timepieces that we selected, also one of the criteria was thinking about, will it stand the test of time,
Yes.
right? And we believe that they will. So, okay, with no further ado, let's go into our very best watches for 2025. And let's start with the first one, which is
I have no idea because I wasn't involved in picking this, or maybe I was, but I don't know the format of this video, and I've done zero prep, zero research, and I have no idea which category we're about to show. So let's just get into it.
First prize, the big prize of the Rebel Awards 2020 for 2025.
The Rebel Awards, according to the transcript, even though I think it's the Revy Awards or the Revel. Is it Revel? I'm not sure what it is.
For chronometric advancement.
Chronometric advancement. Oh man, this is going to be a long show. Chronometric advancement. I have no idea what that even means. I think it means like innovation in the area of watch, like timekeeping, maybe.
Yeah, I would take that to mean literally timekeeping.
And I know it's one of your favorite.
Which is probably an award
watches.
created especially for Rolex's Land Dweller.
Let's see.
There aren't that many innovations in actual timekeeping.
Yeah, there will be an award that they create for the Land Dweller, 100%. There is going to be an award that they create for AP. There's going to be an award that they create for, what else did these guys really promote? Probably like Simone Brett or something. I can't remember. So
there'll be an award for the RD5. Whatever.
Don't worry. Don't worry. These guys, all the watches you know and love, will somehow they'll be a winner of a category.
Last year as well. That was launched last year. Oh, you're wearing it.
Oh,
yes, exactly.
Grand
So this is
Seiko.
the Grand Seiko UFA.
Yeah.
Now this is actually a legitimately worthy winner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this or not, but this new version of the spring drive uses what they call an aged quartz crystal. So they took the quartz is like some kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. It's a stone, and then they make the stones there. They synthetically make these quartz crystals.
Oh wow!
And what they found out is that if they make the crystal, and it's a certain the longer that it has been aged, the more accurate it is in terms of being a component of the oscillator. So they actually found out that they created this movement based on quartz crystals that are 90 days old. It's almost like dry aged beef in a way. So it's like so.
Well, how is 90 days even relevant? I mean,
it's
not a lot of time.
They just tested and they figured out the sweet spots. Like, hey, like we can't have the dry aged beef like taking up too much space in the locker. So like after a certain amount of time, we're just going to pull it out and put it in the watch and see how it acts. So literally this watch, and I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard that this is like accurate to plus or minus 20 seconds per year.
Wow.
20
Yeah, I'd love to know more about that. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I'm asking in my head, is this aging process or selection process, whatever it happens to be, happen before or after it's cut? Because my understanding is that the quartz resonance is based on size as well. Like you're not going to get the same electrical resonance and timekeeping from something that's like, a huge rock. So to me in my head, what I was thinking intuitively was if you have a crystal and you put an electric impulse through it, so it's doing its resonance thing, it may be sort of having some sort of molecules or some part of its crystalline structure shifting or doing something in that time period. Because I mean, aging implies something has changed. It's not like time has passed, so it's better. It's like, no, something must have changed. So
something
to
happened.
me, it sounds like, there must be like a selection process after 90 days rather than just purely aging it. It always gets better.
It's funny. I like to do these videos because I like to be surprised. A lot of times I'll either skim through it or I won't watch it at all because I like to genuinely like kind of watch it for the first time for the most part along with you guys. But I thought if this is the one that I'm thinking of, this is the one that really is kind of a cool advancement. And as much as like I'm not a proponent of Grand Seiko, I think this is it is a mechanical watch. It's a mechanical watch, like hands and gears and stuff are moving this. But there is a quartz thing that's powering the whatever thing that moves back and forth. I'm not sure exactly. Genji's like, your watch nerd is showing. Believe me, that's about as far as I know about this. But it is something that watch people.
And this is a titanium watch. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's listen to their explanation. This is a chronometric achievement or chronometric advancement of the year. So it is a big award.
This is, from my perspective, an absolutely extraordinary timepiece. It is now, if you consider spring drive to be mechanical, which I do, as there's no battery,
Yes,
it's being powered by a rotor, right?
Okay, so I forgot about that for a second. There's no battery in this thing. So there's no battery powering whatever in a traditional quartz watch. This is a mechanical watch.
Yeah, I mean the hands are moved by a mainspring, but there is electrical impulses going around. I mean, I wouldn't dispute this classification, but it would totally be possible to have a Casio that was powered using a rotor, like just because it doesn't have a battery, and say it had a capacitor instead, and and a mainspring, it would still.
There's still electrical component to it.
Yeah. And there's a blurry line. Like I don't think just because it doesn't have a battery doesn't mean that it can't be not a mechanical watch. Like for example, a watch that's running on pure solar, it still technically has a battery, but if you place it like a supercapacitor, you'd probably be okay.
All right. Fair
and
enough.
even though its integrated circuit has a quartz oscillator brain, again, it's the function of the watch is purely mechanical.
Purely mechanical.
And based on that, this is now the world's most accurate mechanical watch
right.
at plus minus 20 seconds a year. So what I love is that Grand Seiko is always constantly improving the technology which it's created. And Spring Drive, which is one of my favorite watches already, has been improved using two features. The first one is a thermal compensator that checks the thermal variation over 500 times a day.
That's right.
Do you know what that is or why it's important? I don't.
Yeah, basically quartz is going to have a different frequency over time, and my understanding is this has an IC, i.e. it's got a computer in there, and it's going to try and account for these variations. These variations also exist in straight up mechanical watches, you know, going through hot environments or cold environments, and temperature changes is a large aspect in the inaccuracy of a mechanical watch too. So it's interesting. There's a lot more computer in here than they'll try and talk about. I mean, all that stuff, that's a computer that's doing that.
Got it.
Improved using two features. The first one is a thermal compensator that checks the thermal variation over 500 times a day.
That's right.
And the second thing is the fact that they've used now an
Age quartz crystal, yes.
an
exactly.
age quartz crystal. So this sounds really baffling as well. Like, what is this? So they've discovered, because they grow their own quartz crystals, right, that if you age a quartz crystal over 90 days, by the end of it, you will reveal whether it has a greater capacity or a lesser capacity for accuracy, right? So the Japanese, being patient people, are able to age things to unveil their true nature, like Wagyu beef, for example,
Yes, exactly, yeah.
and certainly like quartz
I give that exact example, like dry aged beef. Yep.
crystals. So the combination of these two things.
This actually sounds less like aging and more like binning. So in a production process, you will have output of certain units, and those units will evidently have variation between them. And it just sounds like the way to test these crystals is to run them through a test that takes 90 days. And at the end of those 90 days, you pick the ones that are actually more accurate than the other ones. That this isn't like dry aging steak where the enzymes break down the protein structures of the meat. There's no enzyme working on the quartz to make it better. I think they're making 100 quartz crystals and they're picking the best 50 or 20 or something like that.
Okay.
Sounds like a binning
aging of the
process.
quartz crystal and the thermal compensator creates a watch that is capable of being plus or minus 20 seconds a year.
That's
I mean, that
insane.
is absolutely nuts, right?
Remember the video that we did on the UFA as well, that I actually asked you, like, why by aging the quartz crystal, it is actually a fact that it can be even more, the tolerance can be even more minor.
Yeah.
But why don't they age it longer?
So from what
Good question. Why don't they? If that's a factor, then why not investigate whether or not aging it longer might be even more accurate?
Yeah, I think it's because they're using this word aging that this is confusing. My understanding is they're doing testing, and that after 90 days of testing, they already have a very good idea as to which ones are the best. And even after 90 days, they already know which one was the best. Like if you did 100, you would know which one was number one, but they don't want to do 100-to-1 ratio of quartz crystals that they create and test and use. So the issue isn't whether or not they are willing to age it longer. The question is whether or not they're willing to sustain a higher failure rate, quote unquote.
Got it.
From what I understand, 90 days is kind of the optimum in terms of the supply chain, right? Because it is true. And how cool would it be if they actually made watches?
Age 1 year.
But yes, exactly. 1-year-old quartz crystals. And, this is kind of like one of the reasons why I would love it if we were to restart the Neuchâtel Observatory trials.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if they
Whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't know what he
would
just
allow
mentioned.
Spring Drive into there, but if they did and they had featured like a 1-year-old like quartz crystal, I'm sure the results would be even mind blowing.
Freaking 5 seconds a year or something.
Indeed. Okay, so let's go to that, to the next.
Let's look now on this list of the next category, because I have no idea what is up next, but I'm really good at riffing off the cuff. So let's just see what's next.
Award, which is
So the next award is Watch of the Year. Wow, big watch.
Oh, Watch of the Year. Now, we did Watch of the Year on this channel, I think back in November or December, and the winner of the Watch of the Year was the JLC Reverso Tribute something, Openworked, or whatever it was called. And that one with the new gold bracelet. And that was considered the Watch of the Year from this segment of the community. Let's see what they say is the winner of Watch of the Year.
So this one goes to one of our favorite brands as well. Ferdinand Berthaud. Noissance Dumont 3.
Wow.
Is that right?
it's pretty close. So the award goes to Ferdinand Berthaud.
Ferdinand Berthaud.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's not even a pronounceable brand. And listen, Number 2 is a brand that these are $175,000 watches. How can that shouldn't a watch that's a watch of the year, shouldn't it be somewhat not necessarily a watch for the masses, but shouldn't it be a watch that has impact on the industry?
Impact.
Yeah, and couldn't you argue that its impact is just naturally completely limited based on its price point and the number of people who will actually experience this on the wrist? I don't know. I mean, let's hear more about it, but I'm not happy with their choice.
Naissance
D'une montre.
Dumont 3.
Too much
Right?
French.
So Ferdinand Berthaud.
Way too much French for a watch. It's a big red flag. It's basically there's 2 strikes already. Number 1, they can't pronounce the brand, and number 2, there's way too much French going on here.
The award goes to Ferdinand Berthaud.
Ferdinand Berthaud.
Naissance d'une montre.
Dumont 3.
Right? So Ferdinand
Fuck me.
Berthaud and the birth of a
Fuck me
watch
dead.
3, which is a project that came out of something called Time Eon Foundation, which is about bringing back the knowledge that we're losing in an industrial era of watchmaking. And this is all about making purely handmade watches, right? And when I say handmade, even the tools that you have for milling or drilling holes, they're being guided by a human being and not by computer numeric control, right?
So hand-guided, basically.
Hand-guided.
Yeah.
So in order to do this, Carl Friedrich Schäuble, who, again, it's only him that could really undertake something, a mission this impossible, right? He first had to go and build a new atelier, right, which is a shared competence between Ferdinand Berthaud and
What
Schäuble.
a tremendous waste of money.
I agree. The idea of hand milling, that's just not actually even traditional watchmaking. Like it's not actually traditional watchmaking. They're doing some other avant-garde stuff. Like these are communists.
These are communist principles at work here in the watch
Yeah,
industry.
it's like where the value is defined by the labor input. Okay, let's tie his hand behind his back. It'll take 3 times as long.
But the funny thing is, there are analysts who go through and calculate the number of person hours that are used to produce each brand watch on average,
Mhm.
and they do use that as a metric. So maybe this industry has some communist foundations, in its thinking. It's like what I think Long is like. Well, we spend 120 hours of engineering that goes into every single watch, and somebody else, Rolex is like, well, we only use 28 hours or whatever it is. So there is that component of how much time goes into making a watch is a reflection on the end user quality that we're positioning it.
Because they don't exist anymore, right?
How do you manage to buy vintage
Repair those
This is
vintage
crazy.
tools, hire a whole new generation of craftspeople that are going to use these tools,
Yeah.
and then train them how to use these tools. And this whole process took basically 7 years,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Before he started working on the watch, and what a watch it is.
What a tremendous waste of time. Huge. I mean investment. That's what I meant to say. Huge investment of time. What an incredible achievement by the team.
I just want to say Gen G has some good insights pulled with respect
Yep.
to quartz aging,
Read
indicating
it.
that aging actually is a thing. Like the quote unquote the process stabilizes the crystal's frequency by relieving internal stresses, reducing outgassing, and settling impurities. The most common involved method includes exposing the crystal to high temperatures to accelerate structural changing in the quartz and its mounting. What strikes me in this is that such things would be happening after the person takes ownership. So, it's going to go through years of ticking in the owner's hands, and you get this aging anyway. The only way that this process of aging it, waiting for it to accumulate, stability, quote unquote, was that if after this process you then regulate it, again, like it doesn't really gel with me. I mean, it would imply that you could take any spring drive and then just regulate it after a year of ownership, and it's going to be more accurate than the first year of ownership.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like the crystal had time to go through its experiences, and that the re-regulation to tune it to back to where it was. So the idea makes sense, and it would result in a better, more accurate crystal. But it still strikes me that it's still likely a binning process that results in finding which crystals are performing the best rather than pure aging for the precise reason that I just said. Like you could take any Grand Seiko spring drive, re-regulate it, and it's presumably aged.
Thank you, Jen G and Aussie, for your comments. Doc Mick Florida is in the chat, member of the OC channel. Hello, OC and everyone. Good to see Doc Mick in the chat. Back to the video.
What a beauty.
So this watch features one of the most important achievements in horological history. It is the split bimetallic balance wheel.
That's right. Yeah.
And what does that mean? Well, in the old days, a hair
He does have a wealth of information. You got to hand it to Waco. He does know about this
He
stuff.
knows everything.
He knows
He
everything.
does.
And he
Yeah,
knows
he
these
does.
watchmakers, he knows these companies, he knows the brands, he knows the watchmakers themselves, and he knows all this stuff. So, huge shout out to him on that front.
spring, which oftentimes are made of iron, right, was very much affected by thermal variation.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, just minute differences in the temperature throughout the day would cause the hairspring's elasticity to change. Now, what's cool about a bimetallic balance wheel is that it actually has a split, and it is either expanding or contracting in precisely the opposite direction as the balance spring.
So basically balance it out, right?
It compensates for it. This
compensates,
is thermal
yes,
compensation,
exactly.
and this is something that was really.
I like when Waco corrects constant. He does it a lot. You'll note if you pay attention, constant will say something and it's never good enough, and he'll just like that example right there.
Precisely the opposite direction as the balance spring.
So basically balance it out, right?
It
No, not at all. Not at all.
compensates for it. This
compensates,
is thermal
yes,
compensation, and this is something that was really perfected by Guillaume, right? Which is why it's oftentimes called a split bimetallic Guillaume balance wheel.
yeah.
But in order,
I could sit there next to it and pretend to know what the hell he's talking about too. I could sit there and go, yeah, exactly.
to do
Oh,
this,
I just want to comment on this, that there's a lot of timekeeping complications that are there to improve accuracy, but I'm not too sure if there's any example that is actually more accurate, including tourbillons, double balance wheels, repertoires, whatever this thing is. There's a lot of advancements, but none of them will be cost certified and unlikely to beat a basic 31 series Rolex movement with a Swiss escape and lever.
But at the end of the day, there's nothing like Rolex reliability.
Yeah, like it's like it really just comes down to like, okay, you can put all of this hand made complications that theoretically improve the accuracy, but then you go to measure it, it's like it sucks. Is what's likely the case.
Yeah.
one had figured out how to do bimetallic materials for a balance wheel, because you need to be able to effectively solder two materials together. Right? And no one could figure this out, and no one could advise them as to how to do this. There was even people from the time Eon Foundation, I think Vianney Halter said in the good old days, you put molten metal in a bucket, like tied it to a string and spun it around under the roof of your house. which
I've always admired Vianney Halter for him saying that. It's one of the things that struck me as well is when he said that. Is I really took it to heart.
evidently, I think they tried and it didn't work at all.
But they did try
But
it.
very romantic, okay? So eventually what they realized is because they own their own foundry, right? They smelt all their own precious materials, for example. They were able to use this foundry for the smelting process, and they used it to essentially weld together
That's
these
crazy,
two
man.
materials. Then the second thing that's so extraordinary
There's more. There's more, guys.
about this timepiece is it's great if you want to go back to old school technology and you have an iron balance wheel and you've got you've got an iron hairspring and then a bimetallic balance wheel and they're thermocompensating for one another, but does it actually work? So what did Carl Friedrich Schäuble do?
He was so gangster about it. He sent the whole watch into cost.
Look at this. Aussie. Look what they did.
They
get
actually
cost
did put it to
35.
cost.
Exactly. So can you imagine that he's making a 10-piece series of watches?
11 actually, one piece unique.
Well, one piece new. Yes, of course, that was sold for charity.
Yes.
And then on top of that, he is creating a technology or bringing back a technology that is completely unheard of. The entire watch is made by hand, right? And then he takes this timepiece and he submits it to the rigors of contemporary cost certification.
Exactly.
And not only that, but apparently he blows cost certification out of the water.
Yeah.
Apparently the watch tests super
Wow.
well.
So well.
And that's the thing that I love about this watch, and I think why we chose it as basically the watch of the year,
Yeah.
is that it is such an important achievement for us really continuing and preserving the savoir-faire of watchmaking.
High horology.
Also for
basically.
I like
future
that. I like that term,
generations,
savoir-faire.
That's
Savoir-faire.
another French term. Yes.
But I mean, this is the state of high horology, that a watch outside of Omega and Rolex, in this high stratosphere of six-figure watches, that the one time they decide to submit it to COSC and it actually passes. And remember, the COSC is not superlative chronometer like Rolex standards. It's a much lower standard. That it's now worthy of Watch of the Year. Now, I'm not saying this isn't actually an achievement. It is an achievement. Like I respect this, but
this is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of taking out modern technology from the engine, where no fuel injection, no modern oils, no all that stuff, and then using old, ancient, technology to make the engine, and then it ends up getting great fuel economy and excellent performance. I don't know.
yeah.
Lo and behold, but
Yeah.
okay, I get it. Like they chose they chose an expensive independent brand, and it actually kind of lived. For ultra high end collectors, this is like a cool watch. This is like the way he explained it is like a really good value
It's good.
proposition. It's like, hey, you know what? You should, if you actually like watches, like how shit works, and like the art of horology and engineering and technology, you should. There's yet another reason now to spend $175,000 on Ferdinand Virtu.
Well, what's interesting though is that all of that thermal stuff that he just talked about, that I don't believe that cost certification covers thermal anything. let me double check.
Yeah, check. You can do the research on that. I won't do it.
But
Yeah,
then
I'll take
it's
a look.
backed up by the insane credibility of actual chronometric certification. 7 years of development just to make 10 watches.
11,000 hours.
I mean, it's incredible. So anyway,
Well deserved watch.
bravo to Carl Friedrich.
Ferdinand Berthold.
One last thing that I wanted to shout out is the gentleman that was in.
Interesting.
I got the test. Yeah. So it's across 3 temperatures actually, 8 degrees, 24, and 38 or something like that.
This project.
Yeah. So it may have helped. It may have helped achieve the certification.
Cool. Let's go past that to the next one.
That's really lovely. So
Bravo.
bravo to that gentleman as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next, another very important award, technical advancement. So this one,
Technical advancement, which I don't know how that's different from some of the other ones, but let's hear what it is.
one actually goes to a watch that you have seen recently in the last few months.
Yeah.
The Blancpain Grand Double Sonnery.
Well, it's a beautiful looking watch. There's no doubt about that. I mean, aesthetically, it's
think
very,
it's cool.
very, it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is the first time I've ever really seen this.
Is this
it's got the
brass or gold in the
great-
open?
I have no idea.
You have seen recently in the last few months.
Yeah.
The Blancpain Grand Double Sonnery.
You know, not only have I seen it, but I actually listened
Yeah.
to it, and that was what was extraordinary about the watch. Okay, so a Grand and Petite Sonnery, as you guys know, is probably the crowning achievement in horology, right?
Yeah, in terms of technicality, yes.
So what does this watch do? It basically plays time in passing, right? In Grand mode, it plays the hours on the
I
hour.
love the retrograde date. Absolutely love it. By the way, there's an FP Journe. I'm not a big fan of FP Journe, but there's an FP Journe called the Calendrier that also has the retrograde date along that left-hand side like that in the 180 degrees on the left side of the watch, which I actually like. This is absolutely gorgeous, but it being a sonnery is going to be super expensive. But look at
I had no idea Blancpain did anything like this.
This is absolutely stunning.
What does this watch do? It
Look
basically
how they did the leap year. Like the leap, I guess the leap year is that something that rotates, or is it just the little hand that when it gets to the L, that means you're in the leap year?
Yeah. I think it's just the normally it's like a jumping hand to do the.
I like the way they did. I like the way they did this. It looks really good.
plays time in passing, right? In Grand mode, it plays the hours on the hours, and then the hours and the quarters on each quarter.
Yes.
Right? In Petite mode, because you can switch in between, right? You've got the hours on the hours and just the quarters on the quarters. Now,
I didn't catch all that, but I'm assuming it has to do with the ding 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 ding, like that, whatever that is.
not all in Grand and Petite sonneries are created the same, because there is something called a carillon Westminster
Or fucking French.
Grand and
Westminster
Petite
Grand
sonnery,
Petite
right?
sonnery, yeah.
Which means that the quarters, instead of being a 2-part melody, are a 4-part melody, which goes,
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, precisely.
Ding, 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 ding.
well, okay, what he points out.
Oh, the Westminster chime.
Mm,
It actually does that. Okay,
that's
whatever.
nice. That's pleasant.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I
it is
think
pleasant.
you need British heritage if you are going to be using that.
That's a good point.
It's
And
not
for
I don't think
British
that's cool for
collector,
an
that would be
American
cool.
to be rolling with that. Yeah.
But is it a grandfather clocks? Is that what they're called? Grandfather clocks? They all have that Westminster chime to them.
Oh, they
don't
do. I think.
I think they
I've
do.
never been in anyone's house that had a working grandfather clock.
Out also is that the melody is inverted
Yes.
with every subsequent quarter, and that's really extraordinary as well.
Amazing,
So
yeah.
that the number
Whatever.
of those watches is
That could just be a
it's-
bug. Like if you saw software do that, I was like, why is this playing in reverse on the
Oh, shit,
quarter
we-
hours?
Shit, we put the fucking gear in the wrong way. You know what? Just leave it. It's too much of a pain to fucking re-engineer it. It's like whatever.
It'll take 3 extra
my
gears to get this right. Just fuck
Yeah.
it.
Fuck it. Yeah, I told you to run it through the CAD program again.
Extremely minute. There's not many Grand Maison that actually does it well, actually.
Correct. And what Mark Hayek and his team over at Blancpain have done is that they've allowed you to actually switch between the Westminster chime, which I
What
think is
the fuck? This is like this is customizable. I don't. Look, this is actually pretty good. I'm impressed with these award winners so far.
that they've allowed you to
Yeah,
actually
hey
switch
guys,
between the
I grew up in Australia and not in any wealthy old money part. So, grandfather clocks functioning in people's houses is not something I experienced. So good for you guys who have working grandfather clocks.
Doc
And
Makers
grow
a
up with
member
them.
says, I have a grandfather clock. And Ryan Hofrey says, we came on the Mayflower, Aussie. We all have grandfather clocks.
We
okay?
got old money. Old money flex is the grandfather clock.
Exactly.
team over at Blancpain have done is that they've allowed you to actually switch between the Westminster chime, which I think it's supposed to actually be called the Cambridge quarters.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Because it was first used in St. Mary's Cathedral in Cambridge. But he allows you to switch between that melody and a signature Blancpain melody composed by
Kiss.
What
Eric
the
Singer
fuck?
of Kiss, our buddy. What's up, Eric?
Are you
Right?
fucking serious? Holy
It's
shit.
pretty wild.
Mind
The-
fucking blown.
The guitarist of Kiss passed away last year, I think. I saw the
Yeah.
Grammys and they had a
Yeah,
mural
Ace
for
Frehley.
him.
But the Eric Singer, who's the drummer, is
Mm.
like a massive watch guy. He's worked with he has a huge collection of everything under the sun, mainly like vintage
Wow.
stuff. And he actually did a watch for, what was the name of the company? Zodiac. He designed a watch for Zodiac at once. So he's a big, so that guy that was involved in this, holy shit.
But he allows you to switch between that melody and a signature Blancpain melody composed by
Kiss.
Eric, singer of Kiss Our Body. What's up, Eric? Right? So
What
that's
the
what's
fuck?
really cool. And actually using this a column wheel. You have a double rack system activated by a column wheel, and it allows you to select between these two melodies.
Is this a watch designed for? Is this a super expensive watch that's designed to suck me into buying this? Is this like uniquely designed to get me to fucking buy this watch? What are the Aussie? What are the fucking odds of that? I mean, seriously.
I mean, it's a choice having that Kiss association because it's going to mean a lot to some people and not to others. Like having Ferrari or other co-brands and stuff. You know, there's upsides and downsides.
That's fucking amazing. Holy shit.
I'd take an Ozzy Osbourne high horology piece.
Yeah, but he used to wear Cartier a lot, Ozzy.
Oh, really?
What else did he have? I mean, he had a lot of unique things. Like, I don't want to misstate what he had, but he had like Parmigiani and a lot of those.
Oh, really?
Like third level brands. Like I think he even had like Roger Dubuis and stuff like that. Because his wife would buy him a whole bunch of stuff, you know, that he would wear. But this is just crazy. Wow.
Composed by
Kiss.
By Eric, singer of Kiss Our Body. What's up, Eric? Right? So that's what's really cool. And he's actually using this a column wheel. You have a double rack system activated by a column wheel, and it allows you to select between these two melodies. And that's what's so incredible about this watch.
By the way, this watch is sold with unlimited free servicing. So don't worry about anything ever breaking. Blancpain, which will be around for another 100 and whatever years, will take care of it for you free of charge.
So just to go through that. So there's two different chimes. One for those with British backgrounds and culture and class. We'll get a timeless melody
then there's
everyone
one
recognizes.
That they won't play and we don't know is like probably another 4-note melody.
Yeah.
Composed that they're like, hey Eric, do you want to pick the 4 notes that are used by this one? And he's like, yeah, how about do 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 or whatever? And like, okay, we'll go with that one.
And the other one's clearly for the uncouth Americans, you know, that just have to strut their stuff all the time.
It could be like the four opening notes of Rock and Roll All Night or whatever. Who knows?
Wonderfully interactive, right?
Yeah.
And then the entire watch is basically a bespoke watch, so you can select the case material, the dial, whether you want it to be completely skeletonized or you want it to be, Wolf enamel.
Okay, wow, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the person that's commissioning the watch will follow the journey of the watch with the people that are making it for him over the course of an entire year, which I think is really
wow.
Wow. Okay. So it takes one.
Wow. And Gen G, is this true? It's $1.7 million. Are you fucking? I can't afford that. I can't afford. That's crazy.
So crazy. I might be getting a call from my wife any minute. So my wife, I sent her to LA. She's with a friend. My wife has no idea where she is, but I think her Uber just pulled her up to the Walt Disney concert hall. So the shoe will be dropping relatively soon. So I asked her friend to give me a call when she
if she calls, just tell her you don't really care, or just I'm sure she's having a good time there. You actually don't want to know how good of a time she's having there. 1.7 million. That's insane. Wow.
Well, I mean, from a brand like Blancpain, what's the next nearest?
To complete this watch. So I think part of the process is obviously the dialogue that you have with the watchmaker and the team that's creating this timepiece for you. So I think we should pause here and talk about something very interesting. So
nope. No, let's not do that. Let's not pause. We got to get through a whole show of awards. So we can't go on any tangents. We're just not going to do it.
Or it's trying to engage playing time as music, but now display.
Is he a former gangster? Is that why he's got the tattoo sleeves?
I don't know. Maybe he was like a sumo wrestler, or I don't know. But I'm going to try and get to the next award. But the other thing, like, by the way, this award. This video was done so cheaply that there's no chapters and there's no like big graphics. So it's like, hey, the next award is this. Not even like a Chiron or anything. No banners.
That's
just like,
true. That's true. Like
they
no
did nothing.
title.
There's
like,
no
just-
fucking production value whatsoever. Like,
I
guys,
love just white font on black. Those are great title cards, just white on black. But
anything.
clearly not for us.
Anything so I can skip through this thing and fucking there's no chapters, there's no I mean, do I have to read the transcript in order to find out the
AI
next
wasn't
award?
even able to help out here.
Yeah, but if you guys want to go deep into this Blancpain, which I'll probably will afterwards, just go back to it. But let's see if we're on the next award yet or
Big
not.
technology there. But the first time they used it was in a
Oh my god.
set with shock floating. And how can you use
He's talking
it?
about balance springs and the typical shit that he's
Pinion
You can read-
construction,
Jesus Christ.
hand stack.
Oh my god. And that goes. I mean, that's good because that way we can kind of get through this.
They didn't do any. Well, I mean, they're inserting shots of stuff. So I mean, they could have just cut all of his conversation out. All right, my wife's calling.
All right, have a good one. Peace out. There's another brigade. Is there a brigade in here that I'm going to skip over? Let's see here what this is.
The coot, I'm just telling you guys right now. Better save one for me, but I don't know when I'll be able to buy it.
Yeah, so exactly what we said. This is the JLC reversal tribute. It's the Art Deco. Basically, it's the
Let's see what award this
becomes
is.
Extremely the watch. The only thing is, I'm now and I'm still very determined to own this
Yes.
watch. The only thing is, I'm now very happily married
Yes.
and we have a baby on the way. And when that happens,
dude.
your watch spending becomes extremely curtailed.
Yeah,
Jeje le coot, I'm just telling you guys right now. Better save one for me, but I don't know when I'll be able to buy it.
yeah.
But-
So exactly what we said. This is the JLC reversal tribute. It's the Art Deco. Basically, it's the pink on pink.
Or deco.
Oh,
So what is or?
So this is the watch that won this channel's Watch of the Year award. Let me see if I can find the category here. Best design. Best
It's
design.
hard to say what this category really should be or that category.
Yeah.
Guys, and maybe actually you should feedback.
Best design.
Best design, and again, guys.
We don't need to hear you explain it.
To buy. I'm just telling you.
Basically, it's the pink on pink.
Or deco.
Oh, deco.
So what is or?
Rose gold, right?
Art
It's
Deco.
or
Art
means
Deco.
gold.
Gold.
So it's actually a play on the term. Normally you would say Art Deco, but here you say all deco.
Or so gold deco.
Yes, and
basically.
deco because it's incredibly decorative.
Yes.
It's very subtle, but incredibly powerful at the same time. Right? Subtle because you're
Okay, so this watch that we named, this community named as Watch of the Year, won the award for Best Design. Very cool. If you want to learn more about why it won that award, there's a video link in the chat. You can check it all out. Let's see. Oh no.
right? which okay, I'm not trying to put the alligator farms out of business, but okay, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Anyway, okay, let's continue.
this is a big one as well. So
Yes.
this is the best striking watch of 2025.
Yes.
Best
It is the
striking
Chopard
watch.
LUC Grand Strike, a watch that was launched also very late last year.
LUC Chopard Grand Strike. Interesting. Do I care? Not so much. If you want to learn more about it, head on over to the video that is in the chat. As a matter of fact, here, I'll drop the link because I love these guys and they're allowing me to play their content for absolutely free. Boom. Head on over to Revolution Watch on YouTube. You can watch the whole video for yourself.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Not just these watches.
Let's go to the next award here.
Give me a one-to-one tour on this
In
watch.
Phuket, right?
Yeah, in Phuket.
right.
Yeah, you were like walking around a tour, and I was talking to him, and I was talking about this watch.
We don't want to know about your time in Thailand. We don't want to hear about that.
which I love.
Okay, so what is the name of the watch?
It is the Louis Vuitton Amazonie.
And it is the winner of our Métier d'Art prize, right?
Exactly.
Oh, so like in other words, like, hey, painted artistic timepiece. Cool, cool, cool. It's got parrots, it's got a jungle, there's vines, there's trees. Congratulations to Louis Vuitton. See what else we got here.
And wow, this is also a big watch.
The best astronomical watch, which is also incidentally the world's most complicated.
Best astronomical watch, and
wrist
the
watch.
winner is.
And it is also one of the watches that was launched for Vacheron Constantine's 270th anniversary.
That's right.
Which
Exactly.
was, I mean, from a horological perspective, just simply orgasmic.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Vacheron Constantin Solaria.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So Vacheron had
The Solaria winner of astronomical piece of the year. Very cool. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, check this out.
Wow, Revolution Watch of the Year.
yes.
Huge one.
Revolution Watch of the Year, which is different from Watch of the Year. This is like, in other words, like I got to squeeze in another award, just like my Waco, like this is Waco's Watch of the Year, basically.
And that watch is
Rolex,
the,
the Land Dweller.
yes. So
Of course.
somehow Constant and I correctly predicted pretty much all the functions of this watch. Okay,
Six,
but
six, we got 5 right, I think.
which one did we not get right?
The natural escapement.
Okay, so and to be fair, there were
Kind of right though.
yeah,
I think kinda
well,
right.
because it's not exactly a natural escapement; it's a hybrid between a natural
Yes,
escapement.
yeah, it
Because
is.
a natural
Lots of watch nerd stuff here, but yes, the Land Dweller Waco Watch of the Year. That's no surprise. You knew he was going to squeeze in the Land Dweller in there somewhere. You're probably going to see Simone Brett, and you're going to see AP in here because those are Waco's favorite brands, and so he's going to make sure that those people win awards, regardless. I mean, they're going to win. So let's see here. Some other watch one. What is this one? Do we want to take best handmade watch? Is that what it is?
Okay, interesting one. So this is the best handmade.
well, okay. I mean, because there's two handmade watches that we have awarded this year.
Yep.
One is Naissance du Monde 3. You
Yeah.
want to say that again?
Oh my God, Naissance du Monde 3.
Naissance
Naissance
du Monde
du Monde
3.
3.
I
Okay,
love. He's giving French lessons, everybody.
right?
Wow.
So like one is that, and the other one is the best handmade watch, which is
Well, I mean, the name states it's the Grupo Forze handmade.
Oh,
yes. So I would say that the watch of the-
Ruble 4C, which is in the midst of a massive turmoil right now, as co-founder Stephen Forsey's left the company over the past week, and he was really the engineering and creative force behind these watches.
year was really like it had to bring something from a technical perspective as well. And in fact,
I'm sure this is incredible. Gruesome Forsey, everybody. Congratulations to them.
my incredibly accurate Grand Seiko UFA, and I think it's lunchtime.
Yes, it is.
Should we continue this conversation
Yeah.
over some?
You know, I listen. In other words, I'm bored shooting this video. Can we just fuck it? Let's just cut it off right here and go to lunch. Hey,
No,
you got
some
my.
tasty sustenance.
I
You know
approve.
what? Let's go for popiah, bro.
We're going for what?
Popiah.
You're going for poop? What'd they say?
Tasty sustenance.
You know what? Let's go for popiah, bro.
Holy shit, they're going for poop, guys. Is that really edible? That's crazy talk. Listen, these they eat anything over there.
We're going for what?
Popiah.
What's that?
Well, you know soon, right? see you in the
I think
popiah.
it's like dog soup. I'm not sure what they do. I mean, they have all kinds of crazy stuff over there.
All right, follow us.
Constant, please tell us about this restaurant.
So this is good.
Here.
If you want to see all of their stuff having lunch here, then click on the video. World Time Watches, is that what this is?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So this is extraordinary to me because I love world time watches, and like everyone else, I own a Louis Coutier-based watch. I own a 5131 from Patek
Amazing.
with the cloisonné enamel dial. But the problem with most traditional world timers is that they're not accurate for half of the year. Why?
Look at Constant Chang is like, listen, I'm fucking hungry. I don't care what you have to say. I'm digging in. Digging in. So Beauvais, winner of World Time of the Year. Let's see. For West Coast, they have, is that Vegas? That's West Coast time. Very interesting. Not what they have New York for East. And then they have Mexico, Quito, and then Las Vegas. What the hell? These are weird choices. Should be disqualified based on that. I would disqualify this watch just based on their city choices. Oh, here we go.
Right? The watch, of course.
Chronograph of the year,
chronograph
guys.
award. So that
Chronograph
award,
of the year is,
of course, go into the watch that was launched recently, right? The Audemars Piguet RD5.
So again,
of course.
the APRD watches to me
Of
are
course.
really a beautiful embodiment of haute luxury. I'm trying to increase the performance of traditional complications. You know,
Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. You knew AP was going to get in there, especially specifically the RD5. Yeah, it's a great watch. Is it chronograph of the year? I don't know, but he's going to get one. He's going to get one, which is why it's watch of the year.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
As well, which we love, and which is won an award. We'll get to that later. But okay, bravo AP and bravo RD5 for winning best chronograph.
So the best tourbillon.
Best
That's none other than the
tourbillon. Urban Jurgensen. Urban Jurgensen, winner of the best tourbillon of the year. I don't even see the tourbillon on the front. How can it be the winner?
UJ1.
If I could own any watch from this entire list of winners, I think that would be the one.
Look how it has a what do they call it when the second hand clicks? That drop dead seconds. What do they call that?
The television.
As you know,
Dead seconds. What do they call that? Deadbeat seconds. Hey, shout out to Deadbeat Seconds by J.W. Foster, available on Amazon.
I love tourbillons. Right? The idea of putting all the regulating organs inside of a cage that rotates one on its own axis to compensate for errors caused by gravity is so poetic. Red tourbillons are heavy. And tourbillons are very susceptible to the waning torque.
It's a good looking watch. It's a classy looking watch, no doubt about it. Urban Jurgensen is not a brand that I would recommend, but for someone who has unlimited funds, I like how they do the 0 at the top. That's kind of cool. That's different, right? That's different how they do 0 instead of 12. Wonder why they do that. That's cool. So that's a Kari Voutilainen dial, which that guy's so spread thin. His brand is so watered down. He's literally in like 15 different watches, Kari Voutilainen dials. Let's see what we got here.
Best style watch
Best
Sports watch
style, best style sports watch.
perspective was the IWC engineer, Sonny Hayes.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if you guys saw
Shout out to Sonny Hayes from IWC. That's the Ingenieur with the lime green dial, as featured in the movie. Was it called F1? The movie was called F1. There you go. Congratulations to IWC on winning the Sports Watch of the Year for the Revy Award.
Category that's quite competitive as well. Best men's watch, bro.
Best men's watch. Best men's watch.
that's a very broad category.
Very broad category. So we went with, of course, one of the watches that was quite. It was quite a quiet launch, but it is a watch
In other words, it's something that no one's ever heard of before.
captured a lot of hearts. It's the Daniel Roth Extra Plat.
I love that one.
Oh, best men's watch? That should be like best femme watch. No, Daniel Roth's a good brand. It's a very nice dress watch. This is it's not gay like Cartier, but it's pretty close. It's odd that they would choose this in the men's watch category. They're watering down the definition of man. That's what they're trying to do. They're making a social statement here, like like, hey, anybody can be a man. It's a good watch, but I don't know if it's men's watch of the year. Danny Roth has way better watches than this particular one. And let's keep going. These categories are pretty good. Let's see what we have here.
Rising Stars.
Oh,
My favorite body is from China, Farmer Hot.
okay. So, Constant, I'm gonna let you take this one away.
So, I mean, I think Rising Stars is very well deserved. I mean,
Rising Star meaning like best cheap brand, maybe? I'm not sure. I've seen this one before. I don't love it. What is this? Oh, is it from China?
technology independence from China, a new language, a new design, a new voice, and you create from
Voices. Sometimes voices should be silenced. A lot of times voices should be heard, but other times voices should be silenced, and this might be one of those times. Rising Star, guys, the Rising Star. I don't even know the brand name. But yeah, of course, like it probably won awards, blah, blah, blah.
Design competition for the
Mark Zero
Mark
Market
Zero,
Solis,
yeah, which is an incredible pen.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here.
And so we looked at what was out there, right? And one of the more subtle washes was the Fujiwara/Fragment collaboration with Tag Heuer and the new Carrera.
Yeah.
I'm joking. It's included the watches that
Best
we
collaboration.
So
Best
more
collaboration.
subtle washes was the Fujiwara/Fragment collaboration with Tag Heuer and the new Carrera.
Yeah.
But I have to say it was really, really beautifully
nice,
done.
yeah.
And it's a very subtle watch, right? Probably the only giveaway if you're looking at it from afar is that there's a line of black links in the bracelet.
Okay. Very fascinating. Wouldn't have been my choice for best collab. I don't know what I would have chosen. Let's see what we got here.
Case massively elevates it, but you have to do something that distinguishes it, and maybe in this case, massively
Best
elevates
replica.
it as well.
Okay.
So
Best
tell us what
replica.
is the winner of this.
So the winner of this is of course, Universal Genève chronograph, Nina, right?
Yeah.
The Nina, right? So basically, it's a tribute to Nina Reid, which
All right, so best revival watch goes to Universal Genève for just coming back as a brand, and they revived this watch. Let's see what else we got here. Let's just zoom through it because okay, then this is them talking. Let's see what they got here.
In terms of auto luxury in our
That's
industry.
right, exactly, yeah.
And when Laurent took over, he wanted to continue this tradition in the best way possible. So we saw this year the Solaria, which was the world's most complicated watch.
Yes,
But
it's huge,
from
huh?
I asked her, did you plan to immerse this immense amount of work for the watch industry? Kind of like
Is this Horological Heroes? Okay. Yeah, we don't need to do that. No, we don't need to talk about Jean Arnault or any of these guys. All right. Let's see what we got here. Maybe is there one big one at the end?
It's rightfully so. You know, these two brands has been really
work in this everything we just expressed to be
Brand of the year, maybe?
Horology and 250th anniversary. Great. Yes.
So we also want to save these categories for our editorial director, Tracy Llewellyn, who's based in New York, and she's going to talk to you about these categories. Tracy, please take it away.
Our best women's watch of 2025 is the Omega Seamaster Aquitaine 30.
Best women's watch, Omega Seamaster 30 millimeter.
Which has won the award because it looks like an elegant, everyday piece, but it actually hides something far more serious. Behind the coolness of polished steel or the warmth of moonshine gold is a coaxial master chronometer movement, redesigned specifically for a woman's watch.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody really cares.
Deliberately, confidently, and without compromise. The Tiffany & Co. Bird on a Flying Tourbillon Azure Blossom has won our Best High Jewelry Watch for 2025.
Best high jewelry watch goes to Tiffany & Co. Okay. What else do we got here? Okay, we've got some clock, which I don't really care about. And then finally,
Nothing embodied this better than this P and most expressive. And in 2025, nothing embodied this better than this piece. The Chanel J12 Blur won last year's Best New Collection because, as Chanel puts it, it changes everything by changing almost nothing. Chanel didn't redesign the J12, it refined it, introducing a blue ceramic that isn't trend-driven or decorative, it's structural. Subtle in low light, expressive in daylight, and development piece, it's a sapphire casement. And in 2020, J12 Blur.
Thank you very
all right.
Language. The restraint shows confidence, and in 2025, no new collection demonstrated clearer intent or maturity than J12 Blur.
Thank you very much. I thought that was really well done. So on behalf
Thank
of us,
you very much, Constant, Kwang, and Waco, for presenting the Revies, the Revolution Watch Awards. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're almost about to hit the 3-hour mark. Diego M in the chat says, next topic, Egyptian vases. Pretty close. Crazy. Jan G says, by the best women's watch should have been the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Frosted Mini Wheats. I would have probably chosen something, maybe that, or yeah, maybe that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you on the next one. Upvote the live stream. Upvote the live stream. Let's get to, if you're watching this on the replay, upvote the live stream. Leave a super chat or a super thanks. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks to everybody who watched. And thank you to Original Mathis for always supporting the channel. Thanks to all you guys who watched. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.